Yeah,
at least
food
part
cast.
of the show.
Foodcast.
Okay, we should be live. Let's...
Foodcast.
I didn't realize just
we
how
should be
big this thing
live.
was.
Call or turn on your radio. Which one's live? Mixer. Let's...
Foodcast.
Was that like a 42?
Dude, you asked me like I know what these
300.
things are. 34 ounces.
Wow.
Okay.
And it's full of coffee.
Yeah. That's the stuff.
Which I made like 5 hours ago.
I do have one pickup from this week, and this is the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night backer package.
Yay!
So I'm not going to show the other side because it has my address on it.
I'll say that box and everything you got with it, that looked pretty sweet.
Yeah, so here's the PS4 copy that I forgot I got the PS4 copy of. And it has a slipcase. So it has this holographic slipcase. The other stuff that I'm going to get with it, they had a manufacturing problem with, so I'll get those in a while. But slipcase, and on the back it says Bloodstained Campaign Backer. So
Sweet.
that's kind of cool. I kind of like
It sounds like you're running for political office in 2019 with that kind of bullshit.
my platform.
A bloodstained campaign backer.
Right. I'm a Bloodstained campaign backer. The real bummer about it, though, so this is the $100 tier. And there's a whole bunch of stuff I don't have. The $100 tier, you don't get a digital copy of the game as well. That's at the $125 tier. And I thought, well, that's fine. Like, my disk drive is on the fritz on my PS4 anyway. It just needs to survive until holiday next year. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just go scoop up a digital copy of it. Whoops, it's $40. Never mind. I will just tap the top of my PS4 if the disc doesn't load.
Yep. I think I was a $150 backer for this thing. I'm hoping that my camera pointing is good here.
Yes. You're pointing right at
it. Which also got me, you probably don't, yeah, you might be able to see it, like, right between the two shells. I also have, like, my play mat and my cutout of everything, like,
right.
It's a little bit silly.
Yeah.
I did also get the figures that are right next to it on top with it as well, like the little tiny Isaac figures.
That's what I wish I had backed at that level.
So good.
Yeah.
And then I paid an additional like $25 each for the big Isaac and the big Azazel.
Yeah, but those are good quality.
I saw them. It's one of those things. It's like toys when you're growing up. Like you see, like in my case, there's an Action Man. I'm sure it was for you guys. It was like a GI Joe. It's like, oh, it's a 12-inch figure, and you're like, okay. So it's about this big, and then you get it, and then you realize 12 inches is full size. Like
right. 12 inches is an actual foot, and you're like, oh.
I didn't even look at the size of these things. I just assumed because they were very limited edition, limited run kind of things at first. I thought, okay, so they're going to be average size. They're going to be, normal, small little things. And then I get them, and it's like, these things are bigger than my head. Right. It's like, what did I buy?
Oh, man. Hello to everyone in chat.
Yes,
just warming up here for a minute, and we're going to go live in just a minute here because we probably have a lot of not a lot of games, but a lot of game talk to talk about. I'm doing great already.
So you want to bust out this Evangelion talk now, or do it during the show?
I already forgot. So you went for broke and you just fucking binged Ava, huh?
Yeah.
And you're watching the Netflix one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I had seen episodes of it here and there in the past when it came out, but it was never, I don't even remember what channel at the time I had watched it through, but it was never chronologically in order. You'd always, random episode of the day kind of thing. So
like catching Dragon Ball Z on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, wait, who's the Ginyu Force? Like, where are they? Next episode, like, you catch it the next day, and it's like, all right, we're fighting in the Cell games. It's just like, who are any of these people?
So, sat down, watched all of that Friday night, and it was really good. And then you get to the end of it.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah. Because I liked what they were doing, what they were starting to do, where it's like you've got these 14-year-old kids, at least in the international version, whatever. I don't know if they're really 14 in Japan.
I think with I think that is the right age across all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got these kids that are doing all this fighting and stuff, and they start to experience PTSD pretty hardcore, which is understandable for the crap that they ended up doing.
On top of a lot of bad shit that happened to all of them in their childhood too. So it's like layering the issue upon issue.
And they're not getting any sort of mental health help at all.
Get in the robot, Shinji.
Yeah, which I mean,
that's their mental health.
In that time, though, no one, even in real life, was really getting mental health help anyway. So it, complies with all of that. But yeah, and then you get to the last 2 episodes, and they've got like nothing to do with what had gone on with the 24 previous episodes.
Yep.
And then it just ends.
Now you know why they redid the last 2 episodes and then redid them again as a movie.
Well, and that's so I did a lot of reading afterwards.
Yeah.
Found out that there's 2 movies. One of the first movie that came out, I think in '98, I think it was. It was basically just a recap of the entire series.
That's Death and Rebirth, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
That's the one Eva thing I've seen, and let me tell you, that does not help. If you just watch that, it's just confusing.
No. Shit.
Well, and then apparently there's the second movie, which is, I think, is actually called The Ending or whatever.
End of Eva, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And that actually has a new ending for the series that pretty much picks up right after episode 24.
It sure does.
Which I have not seen. I just did the reading.
So I have to say, End of Eva is probably my favorite Evangelion thing, because do you know what happened after in the real world in the 90s after 25 and 26 came out?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 90s, something in Japan.
No, well, just around Eva. Basically, the last 2 episodes bombed so hard, and the fandom took it such the wrong way that Hideaki Anno, the director of Evangelion, was starting to get death threats consistently. The Gainax offices were getting spray painted, like... People, like, the fandom lost their mind.
Okay, so it didn't start with Mass Effect 3. It started with Evangelion.
Mass Effect 3 looks like a drop in the bucket compared to the stuff that they had to go through. So, End of Eva was Anno saying, oh, you didn't like the ending that I wrote for Eva because it didn't... Because the part of the rough part about 25 and 26, and I don't think Netflix put out the second version of the endings, which fixes a little bit of the stuff, it's very confusing, but it all makes sense once you sort of read a little bit about here's where the budget cut happened, where they explain the story, and then 25 and 26 happen. So the team went, all right, you're going to be assholes to us, we're going to fuck you up. For an hour and a half, we're going to fuck you up. Hardcore. And that movie's a fucking trip, because not only is it a middle finger to people that were causing Gainax issues, it's a middle finger to whiny Evangelion fans, and then it's just a middle finger to your fucking sanity. Like, it is, it's brutal, and I love it, and I will probably watch it again soon, but I try not to watch it more than once every couple of years, because it is rough.
It's kind of depressing.
It's depressing, and it's just like a mental attack. It's really intense.
Well, and sorry, go ahead, man.
No, you go ahead.
Well, and I was willing to accept before I read anything, and I watched everything, and I was just kind of sitting by myself thinking about it.
Yeah,
I had the thought that what had happened was, because at the end of episode 24, or in the middle of episode 24, something major happened that really screwed up the main character.
Right.
So I was under the belief that 25 and 26 was just him having a mental breakdown.
Right.
Like, just flat out, completely lost sight of who he was, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Because at the end of 26, it almost felt like a PSA towards suicide. in a weird way.
Right.
To me, anyway. I don't know if anyone else ever got that, but so it kind of felt like, you know, with him finding himself at the end and with all the hand clapping and congratulations and stuff like that. Yeah. It felt like he finally, I guess, like found himself.
Yep.
And was able to kind of snap out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was those 2 episodes, there's such a disconnect from what's going on in that universe that I wasn't even sure if it had anything to really do with it. And that's when I started going down the rabbit hole of reading everything.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's really cool because it's like, I don't want to spoil for anyone who's now watching it. That's a rare thing. But I know a lot of people are watching it for the first time because it has not been available for about 10 years here in the U.S. It really is Shinji's mental breakdown complemented by the project finally getting underway that they've been talking about for basically the entire show. It's like a coupling of those 2 things ruining Shinji both at the same time. And what I think is really cool is we're also not talking about the other Eva stuff, the rebuild movies. So there's 4 movies. There's 3 of them are out right now: 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. 1.0 is basically a retelling of most of the first half of the series in about 2 hours. And it's really good. And then as soon as that finishes, almost everything else they've put out wildly diverges from the show in a way that it makes it feel like there's a totally separate thing going on. Like in between 2.0 and 3.0, there's a 20-year time skip. Like it's insane. Like just the crazy stuff they do in those movies and God, they look good. Like 1080p, like modern animation. Like Ava looks really good because there's a level of detail, like the show, there's a level of detail there that we don't often see. But man, these new movies look really good. Oh man.
Well, saying when I was reading, I had read that 1.0 was, I guess, like basically a re-res of the original series, but they just kind of compiled everything down so that you weren't watching 26 episodes of everything.
Yep. Yeah.
And then 2.0 was when they started adding extra stuff to the story.
Yep.
And yeah, like you were saying, 3 was supposed to be like a continuation of the story and the actual real ending, or whatever kind of thing. I didn't get too much into those because I didn't want to, I guess, like spoil myself.
Yeah, because you should go watch them.
Find them and see them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're on Blu-ray in the U.S. and all 3 of them are really good. And each one is like an hour and a half, so it's not like a 13-hour marathon like the TV show is. But,
yeah, I have never seen anything ever. Well, except for Rebirth, and that was just okay, sure.
I watched a thing, sure.
That is very much like watching something it's a bit like being in the dimension from like the Pinhead lives in, or the spaceship in space, black hole,
Event Horizon.
Thank you. It's a bit like being in their dimension because I just saw that and it was like trying to see something from like a 5th dimensional perspective because I didn't understand a thing.
And they just like threw it in your lap and it's like, here you go. And it's like, well, I watched something. I don't know what I just did.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, Ava is... I still recommend Ava. I watched the first 2 episodes of the next Netflix version, and I think the dub, I think, is really good. It's really weird not hearing the same voice actors I've been hearing for the last 15 years. Once I got over that, I think they do a pretty good job. I am also in the camp of people I'm not very satisfied by the new translation because I think it...
Oh, I've seen some, like... The funny thing for me is, like, I've never seen this show, but pretty much everybody I follow on Twitter has.
Yeah.
So seeing the takes come out from people watching it for the first time and their responses is great.
I'm not as impassioned as a lot of those people are, but because I think the original translation wasn't great. It wasn't super faithful, but I think the liberties they took made it a little bit better. And I think they fleshed out some of the stuff that was a little bit weak in the original. I think the new one is a little too literal, and I think that's fine, but I think it loses some of the charm of the original. Like, I don't think you can get away with doing what they did to the original now. Like, that was coming out in 95, and like big studios didn't care about anime. I think they do now. So
it's the Final Fantasy VII of translations, where that thing is just horrifically bad. And then you look at something like Yakuza 0, which is both translated and localized so perfectly.
Yep.
That it's unbelievable how good they... Because that's a big thing, like we talk about it for translations and things like that, but people don't realize that localization is the biggest thing in it. It's not the translation, it's the localization that causes the most issues.
And it's interesting you use Yakuza 0 because it's used as one of the best examples for, we didn't literally translate this. Like, the story, the hardcore Yakuza soap opera stuff is very closely translated to the original, but all the side stories, they have fun with puns that only exist in English, because a lot of the puns in the Japanese version are Japanese jokes or Japanese puns. So you sort of have like the best of both worlds there. And it's going to be tough with something like Eva unless they would have brought the original version over, which I'll remind everyone, the ADV version, one from the 90s, is impossible to license now because all of that has imploded like a decade ago. I don't think anyone was going to be happy with it, but I am super happy that more people are finally getting a chance to watch Eva.
Yeah. I mean, it's good for everybody who's not, like, I want to see it. I kind of do, because I see Ava talked about in the same breath that I see people talk about Cowboy Bebop and Full Metal Alchemist. They are three
it's like
shows
the
that are very,
shows.
very small and contained, and everybody of my generation who saw anime talks about those three in the same breath, where it's like, if you're going to watch anime, these are the three you want to watch.
And
along
thankfully,
with Akira and Ghost in the Shell being the movies that you watch as well.
Yeah, and thankfully for Ava, it's really easy to watch. 26 episodes, Death and Rebirth, End of Ava, and then 3 movies that are out. So it's like 26 episodes and 5 movies. Watch those all in order. I know a lot of people say, oh, just watch the Rebuild. It recaps the TV show. You saw that with Death and Rebirth, where, like, sure it does, but you're missing like 95% of the story.
So what do you happen to know what version it is that Netflix is showing right now? Because I take it it's not the one that was on air way back when. Correct.
So there's really 2 versions. The regular Ava that came out in 1995. Gainax had some production problems. So if you look at the old VHS and even the first run of the DVD, every time a scene changes, the animation cell moves a little bit. So it's really weird. I will never unsee it now. They came out with a Platinum collection on DVD. That's like the de facto. It has the original 24 episodes. It has the fixed versions of 25 and 26. Like, that's the version you want. It's the complete standard Ava version. We never got the series on Blu-ray over here in the US because no one can get the fucking rights anymore. The version they're showing on Netflix now is the original TV version fixed, so what aired on TV in Japan, with a new translation and with a new dub. And the rumor is that Studio Kara, who I think owns the rights to Ava now in Japan, they produced that themselves. So the original was done by ADV, who unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. But that version, the Platinum, if you're looking for old Ava, the Platinum DVDs in the US are what you really want. But unfortunately, if you want a copy of those, it's like $300 now.
Yeah.
So
But it's still the Netflix version looks really good. Still.
Looks really, and thankfully presented in 4:3, not 16:9, which is really great. Thank you. One thing Netflix did really right is they didn't stretch it. They didn't do any bullshit to the picture.
Well, and when I rewatched Outlaw Star last night, that still looks really damn good. And they didn't do anything with that version. That's still the on-aired. Well, I take it back. That's the Japanese released version. Right. So there's still, random bits of nudity here and there that wasn't obviously on US TV.
Right.
But they didn't touch it up a whole lot or anything, and that still looks really damn good.
Yeah, like when they put out Cowboy Bebop on Blu-ray, like there's a lot of film grain there. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in the frames, because that's one of the last big budget cell animated anime shows, and that stuff looks really good too. That's why I was always bummed we didn't get Ava on Blu-ray, because I have watched some of that, and that looks really good. But yes, go watch Ava. If you're in a position like Moon where you haven't seen it before, watch like 2 or 3 episodes at a time. Because if not, it can get a little intense. It is a mentally and emotionally intense show.
Mm-hmm.
And just know when you get to 24, 25, and 26,
shit gets real.
It's gonna go off the rails.
Yeah, it's okay to be confused.
And you're going to be
Everyone
like,
is.
What the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched Naruto and Bleach. I'm perfectly used to being fucking confused.
Yeah.
This is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, to me it's like the middle part of Trigun, where like it's this Western show and you're having fun. It's in space. What happened? Like, did I miss some episodes here? It's very much like that. But it's all part of the experience. And thankfully, you don't have to pay $35 for a 2-episode VHS anymore. From Suncoast. Man.
The fact that you can still name check the production company is pretty bad.
No, so Suncoast it's sort of famous in the US. It was a store that was usually in malls. Like, it would be right next to Electronics Boutique at the time.
And Spencer's Gifts. I'm going to make that reference, even though I don't get that reference.
God, Spencer's Gifts, yeah. And it was literally the only place you could get anime in the 90s. Once anime wasn't on, like, fan-traded, fan-subbed VHS tapes, that was the only place. And it'd be right side by side, 2 VHS tapes, both $30 to $35, containing 2 episodes. One tape was subbed and one tape was dubbed, and you had to make your choice because clearly you're not going to pay $70 for 2 episodes.
Honestly, it sounds like Forbidden Planet in the UK, which Forbidden Planet was kind of that, and then Forbidden Planet has recently just turned into Hot Topic.
Right. Yeah, Suncoast died before it got turned into Hot Topic, basically.
They had all kinds of just random stuff. I remember walking past like shelves of movies. It was like walking through a Blockbuster, basically.
And like untranslated Chinese action movies you could buy there. Like there are no subtitles. You're buying an untranslated VHS tape. So don't complain to us if you can't understand it. But you want some of the shit that the Wu-Tang Clan watches, you got it.
Yeah, it was basically any import film that you wanted and any hard-to-find American film that you wanted. You would walk in there, and at least the one I went into all the time, it had like a huge anime, like the biggest anime section I had seen for the time.
Racks and racks, like 2 or 3 rows. Like it was a lot.
It would be like the whole back end of the store, and you would find like all this crazy stuff back there. It's like,
Akira on Laserdisc was next to it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
They'd have the big Ghost in the Shell posters. Like, I don't even know who this naked lady is.
Right, but here's a 16-foot long poster of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Suncoast was crazy.
Yeah, I got my copy of the Initial D movie from Forbidden Planet. And it gets better. The Initial D live-action movie.
Oh, man. That's something.
The UK-only soundtrack.
Oh, there you go.
That copy of that movie is impossible to find these days. Unfortunately, I didn't realize how rare it was when I moved, so I actually don't have that copy of the movie anymore.
Right.
But that is an anime movie. that translated to live action, and they did an amazing job. Amazing. It's one of the best live action movies I've ever seen. It is Tokyo Drift taken to the next level.
Like 20 years earlier.
It's supremely perfect. Like, I love
Initial
that movie
D is
so
great.
much.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we got all our anime out of our system.
Yeah.
Again. Are you guys ready to start?
Yep, sir.
All right. Let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me always is Moonpier.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
So we had our big E3 episode last week. Hopefully you checked that out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. All of our voices have recovered, but not our spirits, really.
Well.
Yeah. So this week we're going to catch up on the last 2 weeks of what you've been playing. So why don't we start with you, Moonpier?
Can we get the business out the way first? I mean, come on, what's going on with the host duties on this show? New episode of ODNF comes out this week, but folks, on top of that, check out our Patreon feed. We will be putting up a vote for the next episode.
Yes.
Vote the correct movie.
There's a correct choice.
There is one choice that is correct. That should be going up by the time you're hearing this. If you're listening to this on the feed, it should be on the Patreon feed. Go and vote the correct movie in. I have seen them all. My wife has seen none of them. It is her month. It is your choice. Make the correct. I'm pulling up Discord right now to probably double check what the list is.
Yeah, that's a good list. But
yes, there is one choice.
Yeah.
Correct or not, there is one choice to make.
Yeah, there's one choice on there. So patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Go get that. The Old Dog New Flicks is part of the $5 tier. The best value for your $5. That's only $5 a month. That's not $5 a week or an episode or some of the stuff that some other probably richer Patreon creators will charge for you. $5 a month. It's super cheap. Patreon.com/E1M1. I think that's all the business now, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I had to mention ODNF because it's the end of the month.
No, you're right.
It's the last Friday and it's going up.
I let you down.
And I'm doing the vote too because I want the people to make that choice, the correct choice.
That's right.
And make it well, please.
Yeah.
Please. For my sanity. But anyway, what have I been playing?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do this in a very weird order. Breath of the Wild, first and foremost.
Okay.
So, I don't really want to talk too much about this because, to be honest, all I've done for the past 2 weeks is run around, find shrines, and parachute from one big point to the next. Ooh, that's curious kind of thing.
You're just playing Breath of the Wild.
Exactly. So all I've pretty much been doing is that. And then, I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the show, but I realized why I was having such a hard time playing the game.
Okay.
I didn't buy any clothes. So I had the blue hero's vest.
Oh, okay.
And I had the mountaineer's hat, which I won from something, from doing a quest, so I could climb better. And I ran around fighting bosses and hard enemies in my scrub pants.
In your pajamas, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I got a bit of money and I bought myself the Hylian outfit. And lo and behold, that can be upgraded.
Yes, right.
And now my defense is about 10 numbers higher than it used to be because I'm not wearing my stupid scrub pants anymore.
Now it's not like playing Arkham Asylum and getting shot by a gun.
It's not Dark Souls anymore.
Right.
I just assumed you were playing it on extreme mode for the fun of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That does sound like me, but no, I'm just an idiot and I didn't buy any new pants.
To be fair, Breath of the Wild is never really that clear about any of that stuff. Like, you get to Kakariko Village, and it's like, you figure it out. And it's like, okay. Like, I don't know what half of these buildings do. Now I'm off to another shrine.
And the first time you get there, they're so expensive that you don't have any rupees to go and collect the stuff, or to buy the stuff.
You're a broke hero for most of that game anyway, so...
Right.
And my broken-ass pants definitely did not help me one bit.
Right.
Now I can actually put up a fight with people. Now I can actually do a whole bunch more and survive better because my defense rating is not 1, it's 12. That's literally the difference it made.
From 1 to 12. The Moonpier story.
That's just the pants.
Right.
Like literally only the pants. Everything else, I upgraded my hero stuff to 8, and then I realized that my Hylian stuff goes higher now because, for whatever reason, I have the materials for that, but not the hero stuff. So now I have defense up the wazoo, and I feel a lot better. I can't believe I was so stupid, and I was just literally running around in the starter pants. Like the pants you get at the start of the game.
I feel like you're having the true Breath of the Wild experience, though. Where, like, you get 30 hours into the game, and you're like, you can upgrade armor? It's like, oh, God, now the game's so much easier. It's like, you're getting the real, the true experience.
I remember seeing a clip of somebody who was playing the game on Twitch or something like they were streaming playing it, and they got the tutorial shrine about dodging after they'd already unlocked all 4 divine beasts.
Yep,
like,
it was like their second to last dungeon. Yeah,
that was good. Parry is like, okay, yeah, that's kind of how I'm doing here.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm just exploring, just doing some shrines. I've got like 2 or 3 towers left to get. Like
the real
pretty
hard
much my
ones.
entire map is filled out except for bottom left-hand corner, top right-hand corner. So I've got the Gerudo Desert. It's the one above that I'm missing, and it's the one to the east of Death Mountain are the ones that I don't have the towers for.
There were a couple. I think there was like one tower I couldn't unlock until really late in the game because I needed something, like some skill I didn't have.
Oh, that reminds me, I don't have the one in the middle either. I don't have that one because all of the stupid Guardians are guarding that stupid thing.
I hate them so much, man.
And the one you're thinking about, I'm guessing, is probably, because unfortunately I've seen a clip of it, you're probably thinking of the Death Mountain one because it's got the orange goop all the way up the side of it, or the purple goop.
Yep. And it's like surrounded by a lake of death.
And you probably use the power jump move to get really high up and then glide in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, probably.
The way I did that was I killed all the enemies around, and there's a metal thing that you can magnetize and then use that to create a bridge that goes up.
Smart. See, problem solving. I really want to play Breath of the Wild again. I really wish it was way cheaper because I'd love to play it again on the Switch, like with the better frame rate, because the Wii U version was fine, but like you can clearly tell you're running on not the good hardware it was intended for.
My favorite thing about it is get the DLC, because the fact that you can call the horse at any point and it just goes whoop and fast travels it into directly in front of you.
Yeah,
it's so handy. Like, but right now I'm currently camped outside of Gerudo Village, trying to figure out my way inside of that place.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
So that's where I am right now. So I'm at my second divine beast, which looks like a giant camel. I am at the Gerudo Village. I'm trying to sneak my way in. I've tried climbing the walls. That does not work. Apparently, there's a guy I need to watch as he goes backwards and forwards between these 2 places.
Right.
But there's like 5 different people, and I can't figure out which one I need to actually, follow. There's the creepy dude who's running around trying to hit on Gerudo ladies by running, which is so dumb. It keeps telling me that only women are allowed, and it says only women are allowed in bright red text.
Yes.
So all I can think of is...
That's your Zelda text?
Yes. Let's go find some clothes that make me look like a Gerudo woman so I can sneak in and do a cloud.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I liked that problem solving because I think there's like 3 or 4 different ways you can solve that problem. And I think you're seeing a couple of them already. It's just like, how do I get from A to B to C to D to get into the village?
Yeah, well, I managed to climb up one of the walls and get really decently far in. I did notice there's a whole bunch of waterfalls at the back, and I can't help but think if I can get near those waterfalls, I have the Zara armor now, so I can just go splish, 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 splish up the waterfall and find my way to the top, and hopefully that solves the problem.
Right.
I don't know. I'm running around this building in the middle of the desert, and then I'm either boiling hot or freezing cold at all times of the day. So it's like, okay, whatever. I don't know what's going on, but sure.
So good.
Breath of the Wild is a good game, folks. Just so you know. It's big as well. Shocks me how big that thing is.
Yeah.
I played Descenders again, still, for more and more time because it's Descenders, and I love that game so much. So I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but I did do the volcano jump. I think I might have mentioned it in passing.
I think so, yeah.
I didn't do the volcano jump. I got the achievement. That's all that counts. I don't care if it's a glitch. I don't need to jump over the giant volcano that's impossible to jump over.
Yeah, you'll take it.
I did do a start to finish run.
Oh, nice.
The heartbreaking despair that I believe I mentioned 2 weeks ago on the show, where I got all the way to that final jump and then spoofed it like twice and then didn't get that start to finish run. I did it. I completed that start to finish run. It was so impossibly difficult to get it done. I'm never going to get the golden run, which sounds disgusting, where you do the whole thing without bailing once.
Right.
Probably never going to do that, but that's fine. I didn't know this, but there is an achievement in the game for doing all of the quote-unquote hidden levels, which is like a bonus stage on each map. One of them is a construction site, and you've got to parkour your way to the top while on your bike. There's another one which is the biggest jump on the planet, which is like something you see at the X Games, and like you've just got to go in and do them. I'm probably going to use that as my next target, just so I can keep playing the game, and It's actually pretty fun. Did you reload it yet, Boston? Did you delete your save and try it?
It's still installed, but I haven't had time to go back to it because of the other stuff I've been playing.
Yes. One of which is my next game, which is Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah, let's talk about Cadence of Hyrule.
Nip, did you join in on this one?
No, I haven't picked it up yet.
Okay, so before we start talking about it,
I'm
Moon,
going to.
Have you played Link to the Past?
Have I? Yes, I've played Link to the Past. It's one of my favorite Zelda games.
Perfect. Well, then you'll love Cadence of Hyrule, because it's Link to the Past plus Necrodancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't... okay, let's get this out of the way. When I first started playing it, I wasn't sure. I was expecting Crypt of Necrodancer. Here is a 4-stage campaign, roguelike elements.
With a Zelda skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it turns out it's literally just Link to the Past, except where you fight people is with the beat.
Yeah, and like, for anyone that hasn't seen it or played it, I had the same thing too, where it's like you start... It has a really great tutorial where you start off as Cadence, and you get to pick Link or Zelda at the end of it, and Cadence just like, all right, see you later. And then you play as your character. And
then she's the tutorial guy in the caves who gives you stuff.
Yeah, she's the, it's dangerous to go alone character. It's really good. But yeah, like you get out of the tutorial and it dumps you onto the Link to the Past overworld, like screen by screen with a map and the grid and like Death Valley's in the top and the Castle Hyrule is in the middle with a shield around it. Like it's
literally a Link to the Past.
Yeah, and then anytime you run into enemies, it's Crypt of the Necrodancer, and anytime enemies are gone, it's just Zelda, where you're just moving on a grid because the beat goes away at that point.
Yep.
It's stupid good.
First and foremost, the most important thing about this game.
Yes.
The music.
Oh god.
Danny B with the smash hit Zelda redos. Chef's kisses.
Well, the thing that surprised me the most, and I'm telling people that love Cadence of Hyrule, if you love this and you haven't played Crypt of the Necrodancer, you need to go pick up Crypt, because what's great is there are remixes of Zelda songs in this game, along with mashups of Zelda songs and Necrodancer songs, and it's oh god, it's so good. It's so good.
So, have you beat the game?
No, I've only played about 2 hours of it. It has not been my priority right now.
I'm probably about 5 hours in, so I've done 2 dungeons, 2 bosses kind of thing. Find the Great Fairies as soon as you can, because here's the fun fact, by the way, folks. The map is similar to Link to the Past. It's randomized. The layouts are randomized. The enemy spawns are randomized. The loot locations are randomized. Freddie Merchantry sings Zelda songs.
I wrote on my notes here, Freddie Merchantry is back. I'm so happy.
Number one, great name, still. Have to shout that out every single time. Thank you, Crypt fans, for coming up with that one. Number two, the fact that he sings the overtures to the Zelda music is amazing.
Yep.
And the fact that you can tell he's nearby because you can hear him singing through the floor.
Yeah, like you can tell that there's a cave with him nearby because you can hear him like off in the distance.
Yep, it's amazing touches. I love the game looks amazing. Like let's just get that out
really good. Yeah.
It's slightly roguelike, but not punishing. And after you get to a certain point with like solving the heart piece puzzles, which I love the fact that it's just there's a heart piece on this map page. Figure out how to solve the puzzle.
Yep, it's in a chest somewhere probably.
It's just Zelda puzzles, and then you'll get the beat mechanics are so great. The multiplier gives you more diamonds, which lets you come back even stronger when you do die.
Yep. I do want to say one thing about the beat, though, and I've heard this from a lot of people that are concerned that want to play this game and aren't good at rhythm games.
I was going to mention this thing as well, because this is a superb touch.
You can turn the beat mechanics off. So at that point, when you're fighting enemies, it's just turn-based. Like, it's literally just a grid, turn-based, non-rhythm Zelda game. And you don't miss anything. Like it just removes that mechanic. But thankfully, in a post-Celeste world, it's not like, well, you don't get the last dungeon if you're not playing with the beat. It doesn't matter. Like you can just enjoy the music, enjoy the fighting, enjoy the weapons and stuff without the stress of keeping the time and keeping the beat. I haven't tried that mode yet, but I'm very curious to give it a shot.
Yeah, it essentially becomes a turn-based strategy RPG. Like that's
a Zelda strategy RPG, which is just I peed a little.
Like it's like the art style is amazing, the music is great, the world is fantastic, and if you've played a lot of Link to the Past, which I have, there are little nods and secrets in there from the original Link to the Past. Like you go to the castle, and there's a screen to the left of the castle. There's a statue. Guess what? You move that statue. There's a stairway underneath it, just like the original Link to the Past. It's like little nods like that are still in there. Like it's so incredibly well done. It's shocking. Cadence of Hyrule was really good, y'all.
Yep. The only downside I've heard about it is a little bit short, but to me that's okay because you want to do multiple runs, and I'm hearing a lot of people finishing a run in about 7 or 8 hours, which is cool because you can just go do another run, and the whole world map, 95% of the world map will be randomized.
Yep, and on top of that, you've got the 2 separate characters to play as. I don't know if it unlocks anything like after that or anything.
I haven't heard.
But you know what? This also made me go play Crypt of the Necrodancer. I went back and bashed my head against that, like, because I'm up to the last unlockable primary story-based character in that game.
Unmissable character.
Yeah, and I went back and I played it, and then I realized how very difficult that game is coming back to it after that amount of time.
Right.
Oh boy, because yes, that's a nightmare in video game format. But you know what? It's if you like Cadence, play Crypt. If you like Crypt, play Cadence.
Yeah.
Like the recommendation goes both ways in this case, and it's one of the few games I play where it's like I'm not listening to something else at the same time. It's like no, I want to hear this music. I want to like enjoy my time playing it. And I want to realize, especially with Crypt, because I play on the Xbox, I ain't ever getting those achievements, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
And the Switch version of Crypt is really good.
Yes,
that's one of the platforms I played it on when we were playing on a Wii roguelike it.
It's so good. Like the game is great, and you don't have to be good at rhythm games. You will get used to it. Like it's if you have quote unquote no sense of rhythm, I don't.
Right.
You put me on a dance floor and watch me do the white dad shuffle. Like that's absolutely fine.
Hey man, we live in the white dad shuffle zone.
Yes, it's a great game. Like, go pick it up. It's what, $25, something like that.
Yeah,
like,
25. Yeah.
Cadence of Hyrule was really good.
Yeah.
Like, really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go play it. My last game this week, the game I literally have spent the past 2 weeks playing almost nothing else.
Oh, okay.
It's Dead by Daylight.
Ah.
Because last week during our E3 special, it was the 3rd year anniversary of the game.
Hey, congratulations.
Of course. Good timing to release a game.
I could have, if you would have told me it would have been out for a year by this point, I would have believed you. 3 years is crazy. Good for them.
Siege came out in 2015.
I just turned into ash.
I know this because the conversation came up last night while we were playing it. I was like, wait, how long has Siege been out? And then I checked. It came out in December 2015.
Good for both of them, though. Like, they both stuck to their guns, and we're sort of seeing this with Destiny 2 now. Like, you have a good foundation, stick with it, slowly build, and slowly sort of bring it to where it should be.
Yeah, and so, yeah, they did a 2 times XP event.
Blood points.
I believe it's actually called the Blood Hunt, which makes me laugh.
Blood Hunt. So good. That's my Norwegian death metal band name, by the way.
Blood Hunt.
Yeah.
So they did this 2 times XP. So I jumped in and I was playing it a lot. My wife wasn't feeling it at the time. So last weekend we did hashtag Dead by Friday.
Yep.
Me and a bunch of other people played it.
Hit a moon pair on Xbox Live.
Yes. Always happy to play. I don't care. Like, send me an invite. I'm probably playing a single player game, or I'm already playing Dead by Daylight because
someone asked in Discord the other day about who wants to start a party to play Dead by Daylight. Moonpeer does.
Yes.
Moonpeer on Xbox Live.
Always send me a message. This game, and I apologize for this pun, but this game has really got its hooks into me.
Heyo.
It's a shame it came a year after it got its hooks into my wife, and she did this for like 6 months. She played nothing but this. Like while
she's like rolling her eyes now. It's like, finally, God.
Yeah, I was into Dead by Daylight first when it wasn't cool. Thank you very much.
Back when the game was bad.
But they did this 2 times XP event, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to play a whole bunch. I'm going to get as many blood points as I can to slowly chip away at some of those achievements and like level up some people and see how they play. So I jumped in and I started leveling up my survivors to level 10 to get the 3rd perk slot, so you can equip their unique perks and then try and escape with those survivors and get the adept survivor achievements.
Right.
So I'm trying to knock them all out, and over the past 2 weeks I've knocked out every single one I was missing except for one.
Wow.
So now I've only got to escape as Ash from Evil Dead.
Oh, nice.
To get his achievement. I think we mentioned like 2 or 3 weeks ago the adept killer achievements they made considerably harder.
Right.
Like with recent updates and stuff like that. Yeah, I got 3.
Whoa. MLG Pro over here.
So I was talking with my wife about this, and like she does not like playing as the killer. Mm-hmm. I think I mentioned it on the show. She actually said to me, "You are a better killer than I am."
Right.
And after some serious discussions, we have realized that she's a survivor. I'm a killer. Like, that's just the way we roll.
The classic 2 marriage styles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I can't help it. I really like hunting these people down and making them pay for their stupidity.
Right.
And
their teenage stupidity.
Exactly. And playing as the killer, it's one of those things where it gives you a better appreciation of what to do and not to do when you come across that killer.
Mm.
Mostly because it's one of those things. You get into a flow, you figure out what your playstyle is and what killer suits you. Like, I don't like playing as the Vomit Lady, surprisingly
Understandably.
enough. I'm not a huge fan of the Saw Lady because she is a very potent killer. She is incredible in the hands of people who know how to use her. I don't like playing as her because she's too small and you can't see a lot of stuff. Like, you can't see survivors moving when she's in the game because she is built very small. I started playing as Legion, which is a custom... sorry, let me use the correct Tumblr terminology here. She is an OC from the developers of Dead by Daylight. That's original character for all you nubbins out there.
Part of my Dead by Daylight ship pairing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the best thing about this is these are essentially, it's a cult it's 4 people or 3 people of killers who all wear the same mask, have the same like style, and you change the outfit you choose changes their body model from male to female because there's a couple of different people inside who do the same thing.
Oh, okay.
And Legion is definitely my jam. Like, their skills work really well with the way I play. They don't have long range stuff. They have like this cool special ability where when you the terminology here is going to be terrible because it's killer terminology, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
But when you use his special, you crouch, you stab somebody, you put them in deep wound. That lets you see where everybody else who hasn't been deep wounded exists, and then they get a timer. They have until that timer comes out to mend themselves. I'm a giant D-bag, and I say that willingly because one of the other characters, one of the hardest killers to play in the game, is called the Nurse. One of her custom abilities is she sees people who are healing. So if you start to heal yourself or you're being healed, your aura is revealed to her and she knows exactly where you are.
Okay.
She's also one of the hardest killers to play. So trying to get her up to level 40 to unlock her skill for everybody else to unlock is very, very difficult to do.
Right.
They do have a store that rotates, and you can unlock killers' skills in this. I took the time and the chance when Hare showed up to unlock that ability for all of my killers to unlock. So now I'm totally running around with a Legion who does this whole, like, hurt people, then move on to the next survivor. Like, his whole thing is scatter the survivors. Have them close, hurt one, hurt the next, hurt the next, hurt the next. Don't focus down on one, but focus on everybody kind of as you can.
Right.
I unlocked her ability for him, so now I do deep wound, and then when people try and heal themselves from the deep wound, I see where they are. Wow. It's a nasty, nasty build.
Yeah.
It's like I'm seeing killer skill synergies in a way that I never ever saw them before. It's like, I feel bad. I got basically 4 perfect runs with Legion, where the rank bar for the killers, I filled it up to the maximum it could be. I basically literally got 4 perfect runs, like, in 2 days. I was like, this is great. I'm doing fantastically. Legion is my jam. Now I'm ranked like 10 in the killers, and anytime I choose someone that's not Legion, I get the floor wiped. Like, everyone escapes in about 4 seconds flat because I'm not a Legion. It's like, great. I've hamstrung myself by making Legion so good, and everybody else is still so terrible.
Right.
This game is amazing. Like, we played a whole bunch of double XP weekend, and then they announced, what was it? Act surprised. Ghostface is the new killer that they announced. Like, they tweeted
the worst kept secret.
So he's out now, and he's super overpowered.
Oh, really?
He is a combination of, like, the Saw Lady, Legion, and like one of the other killers in the game, like, and Michael. Basically, he is a combination of the 3. He is horrifying, and he leans. Like, no other killer leans, but if he's standing behind, like, a wall, like, go watch his skill video, folks. Go watch the YouTube video for it, because it's just this hilarious thing of this ghost-faced killer guy just going, huh? And leaning
like
out
leaning
from around this
corners.
tree. It's so stupid. It's hilarious. But he's cool, and he's in the game now, and there's hundreds of people, and we actually, I spent shout out to T-Bomb Rocks, Brain Eater, and friend of them, Mike Mark, one of the two. We played a whole bunch last night, and we got into this huge in-depth discussion about what would be the best additional killers to put in the game from licensed stuff.
Right.
Because they've kind of run the well a little bit dry.
I have a great idea for you.
Well, let's see if your idea came up last night.
Terminator. It's the year of Terminator. Let's get into Dead by Daylight.
It 100% came up last night because we were talking about the Predator. We don't think he'd fit in too jumpy. Like, not enough strolly, too jumpy. We talked about the Terminator, who is strolly, so that could work fine. And he could even have a perk that lets him just walk through pallets, because that's kind of what he does.
Yep.
The things we threw out was Candyman.
Sure, that's a great cut. Yeah.
My suggestion was the Jinn from Wishmaster series.
Wow, okay.
And then we completely ran out of killers. Like, who else? Who else is there? Like, they've already got... You're not going to get...
maybe?
He was suggested, but then what... Okay, what's his things? I mean, he likes his hooks. I'll give him that kind of thing. but what else? Like, that's it. There's like
You can
3
go
left.
really old school and get Dracula, and do like a Halloween event.
That's cool. That's
like
actually
a black and white Dracula.
Yeah.
No, if they're going to do it, they need to go the other direction and make a deal with Capcom and get Dracula and his survivor be Alucard.
That'd be great.
Like, with the wispy cloaks and everything.
That'd be really good.
You could even do the stupid, dumb cosmetic jokes and have one of his pants have, like, the lift shoes that increase his height by, like, 2 pixels.
Yeah. So good.
I think they would have a bunch of stuff from like the 50s era, like the real stuff that we look at now and like, well, that's stupid.
Yeah,
you know,
like
why
the
were
really
people
corny
afraid
black
of this?
and white stuff.
Yeah, and just like really turn it around and just make you terrified of them now.
Yeah, like Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
that could be interesting.
Oh, it is like they've done such a good job, like genuinely such a good job with everyone's represented well. Like when you see Michael, you panic because it's bloody Michael.
Yeah,
and it's terrifying because his special ability is he stands there with his knife held out and just stares at you.
Right.
It's great.
I think the crazy thing too is we've been talking about Dead by Daylight for a while, but there's always new stuff. There's always a new killer, or there's some new patch that fixes some thing with some survivors, or like you're finding, even 3 years in, you're finding some cool synergy between multiple survivors on the same team. Like there's a amount of depth there that I don't think I would have predicted.
Yeah, I think Mike, who played it for the first time last night, I was trying to explain to him all the ins and outs. Like, dude, when you start as a survivor, you pick one person, you focus on them. You don't worry about anything else. You pick one
main
person, and then you stay with them.
Yeah.
Like, I mained the hard one. My wife mained Dwight. Like, that's why Dwight is our cat's name, is because she's played so much of this game.
Right.
And you figure out, you play it, and then later down the line, you realize how much you can cross over, and the fact that the XP is not locked to a specific character helps you develop the other characters. Like, when we had the double XP weekend, I went in as Legion and wrecked shop and then used all of that XP from the double XP weekend in my survivors to get my survivors to level 10.
Right.
So I could earn my achievements.
That's smart.
And I just went in and started randomly playing as killers. And like I said, I got 3 adept killer achievements, which literally when I got my 3rd one, my wife's response was, I hate you so much right now.
A real Tachanka's head situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like the game just plays so well, and like if you can get a Sherpa to come in and just teach you some basics, it makes the biggest difference. Like, sorry, T-Bomb, I have to embrace your shame here. The quick time events, when you're like doing the generators and stuff, you hold right bumper to do the quick time events, and you tap left bumper to hit the quick time event. T-Bomb was letting go of right bumper, which failed the quick time event and caused this big explosion, which lured the killer towards you.
Hey, we're over here.
We did have some in-depth discussion about how that's a bad control scheme. My response was, no, it's not, because you can still use the right stick to look around for the killer while you're doing the quick time events. It's a perfect control scheme.
Right.
Smartly done.
There you go.
The game is great. Go. Like, seriously, hit me up if you're interested in playing it and you're on the Xbox.
It's on Game Pass right now, right?
It is on Game Pass right now as well. You don't have to own any of the DLC to go against them. It's very much the Street Fighter thing where they're in the game and you will see them if you're there. We did pick up the Ghostface DLC. I haven't played him as of yet. I'm just enjoying playing this game. Like, it's just been so. Like, because it's one of those things where when you play as a survivor, you want to play with your friends. Because playing as a survivor with randos, I don't know how my wife did it.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's genuinely super duper frustrating sometimes playing with randos. Sometimes you get the good ones. Sometimes you have a great run or two.
You're all seeing the Matrix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Playing by myself as a killer, on the other hand, has been nothing but fun for me because I've been learning how to play as these people and just enjoying the fact that I can just wreck shop and have a good time. And doing so is making me better against those killers in survivor mode. Like, last night we ran up against a Legion character, and because I know Legion so well, when I'm a survivor, I know exactly what he can do, what he can't do. I know the best skills or the best things to do to avoid them. Like Legion, when he's in his hunt mode, he can scoot over pallets rather than having to break them. That's a game changer if you don't know Legion. Like, you'll sit there and you'll go, oh, come on, Legion, and then you drop the pallet, and then he just goes over the top of it.
Right. Ta-da!
Exactly. I know that, so I know exactly how he looks when he's able to do that, how he looks when he's not. So while everybody else was repairing generators, I led this Legion on a merry chase around the map, looking at different things, different areas to go to. It's like, is that the best you got kind of thing? And then my wife saw me doing the whole crouch down thing on the other side of a pallet from Legion, who's standing there staring at me. And my wife's like, see, now you're becoming like me, just taunting the killers while you're dodging them.
What are you going
to do? It's like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to act like a D-bag, but it's getting the other people generator time, so I'm happy.
Right.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight's good. Come play with me, that's all I've been playing. Sorry, I'll keep talking about it.
Nymph, what about you?
So, I was playing No Man's Sky again for a while. This has kind of turned into my brain off game at times.
Yeah.
Which is great, but I finally have my base built up to where I want it to be.
Nice.
I finally have built up my supply lines to where I want them to be.
Yeah.
How many times did the little one steal your stuff?
He's well behaved now.
Okay, good.
Because I had to threaten to blow him up in space while we were being attacked by pirates. I told him I will stop
parenting.
Yeah. I told him I will stop fighting these pirates and I will blow your ship up right now.
Right. I will help the pirates. Is that what you want?
Yeah. I will be the evil.
Yeah.
But no, he's actually been doing a lot better. He's actually gotten pretty far too. And we've been helping each other out because I finally, whenever he jumped into my game, you have a quest line to get a scientist. And when he went back to his game, like normal, well, at least I found in my game, my scientist was one system over. So I just had to make up enough antimatter and stuff to be able to hop over one system, grab my scientist, and come back.
It's like your first warp jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His was like 12 systems away. And I'm like, wow, you got
What is up with his game?
Well, so I helped him manufacture, like I was already building up a bunch of materials and stuff anyways. Like, I will get you all this antimatter because he couldn't make any of it because you need the scientist, to be able to start building up on that.
His game, his save is so pooched. It's amazing.
I will make out, I will help you. And so him and I gathered materials for like a day. I made him all this antimatter, got him all filled up and all that. And then I had this random thought of, hang on, before you start doing these system jumps, jump into my game real quick. And so he does that. I'm like, all right, go out into space and pull up your map. Where's the scientist now? It turned out that when he was in my game, that's when he got that quest. So it pinpointed my system as his designated area and put it one system away from there.
Gotcha. Yep. Smart.
So he jumped from my system, got the scientist, and now you can start using portals like I've been doing all over the place. And he can start, making antimatter and all that.
Cool.
But for the longest time, I just could not figure out. It's like, why is yours so far away? Because like in this game, it's like Elite Dangerous when you're starting out. Right. 12 systems away is literally halfway across the universe.
Yeah, it's like an impossibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, got him all set up with that. He's good to go. But I had found out, because you get, you can later develop with your scientists automated machinery. So I've got these automated miners that I just put on a vein of something and it'll mine it. All you have to do is feed it carbon, and I think it's like 30 minutes later you'll have 250 of whatever it's sitting on.
Wow.
So I've got it for copper, uranium, what's this other material called like platinum or something like that. It's some metal thing.
They keep changing the names of some of these elements, so I can never remember.
So the first time I pulled everything from it, it all was fine. The second time I went to do my rounds, all of a sudden everything was giving me copper, no matter what.
Oh, weird.
And at first I thought, okay, maybe there was a mixed vein here or something. Maybe there was like a tiny little pixel of copper and that's what it's hitting on. But then it kept happening. So all I was getting was copper for the longest time. And finally, I'm like, all right, this isn't right. They shouldn't be doing this. And I looked it up online, and apparently this is a well-known glitch with this.
Oh, no.
Where the first time you put down a mining unit, it will mine the correct material. But then after that, all you'll get is copper.
Weird.
And there's no real patch update or anything for it yet. But what I found out you can do is you can delete the mining unit.
Mm-hmm.
It'll give you back all your materials and all that, so you can rebuild it, and then rebuild it and replace it, and then it will start mining the correct material again.
Okay.
Problem is, you have to do this every time now, or it'll start giving you copper again.
Right.
So it's not game breaking. It's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah. And it's probably one of those things that'll get fixed in the next big patch, because it'll have a whole bunch more content and a bunch of bug fixes. But until that mysterious day, it's just kind of a PETA.
So, I mean, the game's riddled with weird glitches.
Like open world jank.
Yeah, which can be fun, too, because a lot of them I found ways where I could glitch my way around something and get what I want. So, I mean, there's good and bad. I just don't talk a whole lot about the good ones, because they're few and far between.
Right.
Because then there was another one where I had to... I had to attack a harvester, which is a building on a random planet that you can find on any planet, and as soon as you get within the area, you get like a wanted level, like GTA.
Yeah.
Where you'll get 1 to 5 stars. And the observers or sentinels that they send to you get progressively harder, where first they're like these little floating units that just scan things. Then they're armored floating units. Then you get these tiny little 4-legged like tiger things that come after you.
Yep.
I don't know what you get to the 4th one, because this is the first time I've been above 3, but the 5th one, you get these massive, they look like AT-STs from Star Wars, the chicken walkers.
Yep. They mess you up.
Yes. So I died. Like, at first I didn't know you would just automatically get the rating. So I was just exploring. I was like, oh, hey, what's this? This is part of my mission. Started walking up to it, and all of a sudden all this stuff pops up and starts coming at me.
Hey, that guy went near the building.
Yeah, I'm like, oh crap. So I bust out my Terramorpher. I start digging down underground, and I realized that I was not really equipped because I was on a irradiated world, so you're getting radiation all the time.
Right.
I did not have sodium for my shields, and I'm probably like a quarter mile underground right now, still getting hit with radiation. I'm like, that's it. I'm screwed. I'm dead. I can't do anything. So after learning that lesson, I decided to take my my starfighter, fly down low, kind of, check the area out, and the things won't attack you. You'll still get the wanted level and everything, but for some reason they won't attack your ship.
Yeah.
And I think it's a glitch of that they know that you're in the area, but they don't know where you actually are in the game, so they don't actually attack you.
It'd be a real bummer if random stuff shot your ship from the planet and you crashed, and you're like, well, now we got to fix this thing, and that will take forever.
Especially on an irradiated planet.
Exactly, yeah.
I've got a base there, and it actually wasn't that far from my base.
Oh, nice.
But like I said, I just wasn't expecting what happened. I was just kind of scouting things out, and then it just turned to, balls in the wall, hey, this is happening.
Right.
So what I had found out while scouting with my ship is there's a door that you have to blow up to be able to get into this thing, to be able to get the data that you need.
Yeah, it's like you got to blow open the front door.
Yeah, so instead of doing it, I guess, the proper way of standing there blowing things up and fighting things off, I would do passes with my ship and shoot it with my ship's weapons, blow the door open, land in front of it, hop out, run into the building, get the data, run back to my ship, and just get the heck out of Dodge.
You know what type of thinking that is, don't you? That's elite thinking is what that is.
That's right.
Fast and hard.
Creative solutions.
So, managed to pull that off, no problem. And the game's still fun. I managed to buy a new frigate, which was only 2 million. And the thing that I had found out was when you send your frigates out on missions, they level up. So, and it's like it's the only thing in the game that apparently levels up, where you start the one that you get after the past update, you start with a C level frigate. I've sent that thing out on a couple missions now, and it's already a B level. Wow. So, and I got a brand new one, which is C, and I'm willing to build it up, and all you have to do is just send it on missions, and all you have to do is, there's this guy on your freighter, he says, hey, I've got these 4 missions for you. Okay, so you send your frigate out, you have to make sure that you have the fuel for it to send them out, they're off, they do their thing, and then they come back or they get attacked or whatever. I had this one frigate that was out there, and it said that it was excavating a planet, and it got attacked by 89 pirates.
Oh, jeez.
And the thing was damaged because it's not an attack model, it's just a survey model.
Right.
I'm like, Jesus, 89 pirates, why were you still there?
Go home.
So yeah, so I've been sending those two out, and you don't do anything. It's just, okay, an hour, 2 hour, 4 hour missions, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like with the, was it the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood when you send your guys out?
Yeah, and like Mass Effect Andromeda, yeah.
So you just send them out and forget about them until you get a message saying, hey, they came back, or hey, do you want us to come back because we're critically damaged? And I'm like, yeah, because I don't want to buy another one.
Right.
So yeah, so I've just been building up a lot of stuff, and I think now that I'm 30 hours into the game, that I'm ready to start doing the story stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of elite thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because it's... Yeah, oh my god. Elite, I'm like, 300 hours into that game, and I haven't even touched the story stuff yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just, it is that mindset of you're creating your own lore, and I think that's why I really like it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of all the survivalist stuff that's in there and watching all your gauges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But once you get the mechanics down, it's not that hard to get the materials that you need to be able to stay alive.
Yeah, and pretty quickly you can start upgrading your shields and get like better rarity shields, so they last, instead of lasting 60 seconds, they last like 400 seconds. It's like, okay, well now I have to worry about this way less, and those upgrades are hugely important.
Well, and then I started getting into like Exocraft too, which I needed because I'm on one extreme planet, which extreme planets are their weather, like this one has a toxic atmosphere, so I can only be out in it for about a minute.
Yeah.
But I got an Exocraft vehicle, which is basically a dune buggy.
Yeah.
That you can drive around in there and it doesn't affect you at all, and it doesn't affect your vehicle. You just have to keep putting carbon or oxygen in your vehicle just to keep the fuel going, and that's it.
Right.
So that gives me more time on the surface, and eventually you can upgrade those so that way you can put weapons and mining stuff on them, so you don't even have to leave the vehicle. You can just do all your mining and stuff within the vehicle.
Oh,
and
I didn't even know
giving
that.
it fuel. Yeah.
That's cool.
So they got a lot of stuff in there to help you, and the extreme planets have tons of resources of hard to find things.
Yeah, it's like a pressure cooker. The real good stuff is there.
Yeah. So it's kind of a double-edged sword where I built a house basically for just my portal because I've gone to this planet by accident once, walked away, and then came back and found out that I died twice just standing there.
Right.
Because I didn't know that was the world I was going to.
Right.
So, yeah, the game still got me pretty good and hooked.
Yeah.
And my son is having a lot of fun with it as well. I don't know why his game is so much buggier than mine. But
you got a real bad seed.
Yeah. But I mean, he's having a blast with it too, so it's just something that we keep yelling back and forth down the hall to each other. Where he's like, "Oh, hey, Dad, check this out." And I was like, "I can't right now. I'm getting shot." So.
Go Pirates, buddy.
Yeah.
And then the next game that I played was Minecraft on the 360 with my daughter.
Yes.
Because she wanted to do building stuff, but she didn't want to play Elite Dangerous or not Elite Dangerous. She wants to play that, but
Elite
she doesn't want to
Junior.
play No Man's Sky. Yeah, she doesn't want to play No Man's Sky yet.
Right.
Because she still doesn't like fighting things in games.
Right.
She's terrified of anything she has to fight. Which, okay, whatever.
Hey man, same.
So we're just playing in creative mode, and we pretty much have all the worlds. Like, we bought pretty much all the DLC for the 360 version. So we're playing in Festival Land World, something like that, where it's basically just the Christmas world that they made forever ago. And I had asked her, he's like, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And she's like, "I don't know, I just figured we'd build stuff." I'm like, okay. So we started building a little town up in the sky. So I've got a house in the clouds, and she does too. And then I got bored and decided that I want to build an infinity pool.
Ah, okay.
So I went all the way out, and I've got this whole outline in the sky. I haven't filled it in yet. This thing's huge, and I kind of lost track on how big I was making it until I got back around and looked at it all. I'm like, God, this is going to be an ocean in the sky.
Yep.
So, and I'm still amazed at how well the 360 keeps up with this, because we're building like really big things, and it's not having a problem. Like the only time you have an issue with pop-in or anything is if you do the flying stuff and you're flying really fast. Then you start getting pop-ups and stuff like that. But if you're not moving very fast that way, everything runs fine. Like the water world that we're doing in the Nightmare Before Christmas one, I'm surprised that's still running as well, because you have all that moving water. It's literally all over the place. I've got the Emerald City pretty much built from Wizard of Oz from this thing.
Right.
And it still runs fine.
That's crazy.
And it's got... I want to pick it up for the Xbox One, but then the problem is my kids would then be in my office playing it, and I don't want them in here. So it's the only reason why I haven't bought it for that yet. But yeah, so we spent probably about 4 hours messing around in Minecraft, just screwing around, building things, having fun. And after that, had to go to work, but we have a lot of downtime at work right now. So I started bringing my Vita to work.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Yeah. So now I'm playing Ys 8.
Yeah.
Which I have been playing. I picked it up when it came out. I pre-ordered it day one. But then I stopped playing it because a bunch of big titles were coming out, and I knew that Ys I wouldn't have to worry about anyone spoiling. Whereas all these other games that I wanted to play, I knew people would spoil within the first week.
No one else is playing Ys 8.
Yeah. So I kind of put it on the back burner for a little bit, and then I jumped back into it this past week, and I'm on chapter 3 right now. I'm almost finished with it, and I think there's about 6 chapters altogether. I don't remember, because you've got the Vita version, you got the PS4 version. The PS4 version has more content in it than the Vita version, because you eventually, I won't ruin it, whatever. But eventually you get an additional character that you don't get in the Vita version, which opens up a whole nother chapter.
Oh, okay.
So I can't remember if it's 6 chapters in the PS4 or if it's 6 chapters in the Vita. But one of them has an extra chapter of story. So I'm up roughly halfway through this game. Just got my Orichalcum. Just fought my first Primordial. Took him down. God, I love this game. I love Ys games so much.
I've heard this one is great.
Well, and that's also why I have almost every version of it. I mean, I've got everything on PSP. I've got all the Vita versions. I've got it on Steam and GOG. And so, kind of a weird fanatic in that way. But I'd also stopped playing just before the patch came out because they had a translation issue with the original version of the game.
Right.
Which a lot of people had issues with the original translation. I could see it, but it didn't bother me so much. I don't know if it's because I'm used to poor translations or...
I mean, a classic JRPG fan. It's like, poorly translated. All right.
Yeah, and it's not like it was... Well, okay. To me, it's not like it was that horrible. I mean, they were getting the story to you.
It was a little awkward, but it wasn't like, here's 10 text boxes that are still in Japanese. It's like, okay, I'll figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, I didn't have as big of an... Like, everyone was making it sound like, oh, this game's unplayable, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It's like, okay, I understand that, yes...
So the usual hyperbole.
Yeah, and it's like, I understand there were issues with the translation, and maybe it doesn't make all the way, it doesn't make complete sense, or, hey, they left a comma out, so...
Sure.
I mean, I can read past that. I may not be the smartest person in the world, but I can understand when someone didn't mean to actually eat something because they didn't put a comma in there,
Right,
So,
yeah.
But I mean, the game's great. I love it. Go play it if you haven't and you like action RPGs.
Yeah.
It's fun. And it's got village building a little bit. Nothing
Don't
heavy.
say that when Boston's around. Come
Boston
on.
knows. Which, I mean, it's got me really excited for it because there's another Ys game coming out this year.
Oh, yeah.
And this story's completely different, and I am really looking forward to that one, too. So,
yeah.
But that's all I've been playing the last 2 weeks. So,
there was we have long... this show, we have been a longtime fan of Nonstop Night. not a fan of Nonstop Chuck Norris because that wasn't that great. I saw last week Nonstop Night 2 came out. I said, well,
oh boy.
All right, let's try this. Let's. What is a sequel to Nonstop Night going to look like?
Does it look like more Nonstop Night?
No, that's the bummer.
Oh wow.
So the part that I loved about Nonstop Night is pushing as far as you can into the dungeon, hitting that reset button, going back to the first floor, and then pushing further than you did on the last run.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone. What they instead now have is just a level system where you're going through dungeons, and there's like a node on a map. Clear 3 levels in there, fight a boss. That's it for that node. Move to the next one. That kind of sucks. Like, to me, that removes the uniqueness and like the fun of Nonstop Night. And now it's just kind of an auto-running dungeon crawler.
So yeah, he stops. So why is it called Nonstop Night if he stops?
Right. Like, the only time he stopped before was when he died or you pushed the reset button. And, like, it's fine because you get this progression. And I think it will make... I think it will make people happy that didn't enjoy the resetting of Nonstop Night 1. So if you didn't enjoy that, give the second one a chance because you don't have to do that. And like at the end of every set of 3 levels, when you clear out a node, you'll get some new gear and it'll probably be a little bit better than your previous gear. So you can go take on the next node and then kind of rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's fun. Personally, I really liked the framework of the first one. And I liked how we were talking about Dead by Daylight and sticking with a game. They stuck with Nonstop Night and improved the hell out of that game for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's still a really great game. And I'm kind of bummed that they sort of took that out of the second one. So if you didn't like the first one, maybe give the second one a chance. It might have what you're looking for, but it does not do it for me, and that's a real bummer. We talked during E3 about Game Pass for PC getting released.
Yep.
I was finally able to download and install the beta Xbox app for Windows 10. I had to patch my Windows 10 machine before I could patch it with a very large update, which changed a lot of things. Thank you, Microsoft. And
at least your patching works. I still have to fight with that on my computer.
Yeah, it's a bummer because there's one specific patch that you need. It's like the May 2019 big Windows 10 patch. It's a very, very big patch. The bummer is originally it would say if you don't have the patch, like, hey man, you don't have the required updates. Like, we're pushing them out as time goes on, so just keep an eye on Windows Update. You can go get it manually. Microsoft said they removed that restriction at some point. They didn't. So I just said screw it.
It's in the patch.
Yeah, like, so I just didn't. The real bummer is if you need that patch, you can go download it manually, install it manually, and it's fine. But the installer never points you at the patch. It never says, like, oh, you don't have this patch. If you'd like to install it manually, click this button, open the website, download the file. It won't let you do that. I get it. It's a beta. Not super upset about it. This whole thing is a little bit janky because it's a beta. But man, once I got it installed, it is part of the new Xbox app. So it's the same thing you had before. It just has a Game Pass tab. And it's the same as in the Xbox One's version. You just click See All Games. It says 100 plus. And then you just kind of download whatever you want. Like, I grabbed Void Bastards, and I grabbed Hollow Knight, and I grabbed a whole bunch of other stuff just to see how it works. And it's Game Pass on PC. Like, that's the best I can say about it is you click download a game, it downloads it, installs it, and then you can go play it. So, if you have not switched over to Game Pass Ultimate, is what they're calling it, go switch over to that. Because...
the best thing you can say about it is that it works.
Yeah, like I think the best part of Game Pass on Xbox One is you just have over 100 games at your fingertips to just... The only thing you have to do is wait for it to download.
Mm-hmm.
Same on PC. Like, I have all my Xbox stuff, and now I just have 100 more games I could download on my PC. I'm not going to be interested in a bunch of them, but that's fine. Like, I downloaded Football Manager 2019 because I've always wanted to try one of those games.
Dude,
you know,
go deep.
And obviously it's not available on Xbox One because how would you do that with a controller?
It's an impossible game to put on consoles. They put it on consoles. They put that thing out on like the PlayStation 2 way back in the lesson. Day. I'm pretty sure there was a 360 copy of they had club editions, and they would release club editions in the cities where those clubs were popular. So like, there was a Liverpool Football Club manager,
that's awesome,
and a Manchester United one, and it's just like, how do you play these things on PC? It's like not or on console. It's impossible. It's just text and statistics.
Yeah.
Is this one of those games where I need a folder for this game?
Yeah, for
with
your
Excel
roster.
Sheets and
yeah. So
if you like baseball and stats, it's the game for you.
Yeah, and
that's what Elite turned into for me too. I've got like 5 different Excel sheets going for that game.
You're perfect. You're the target market. And I thought that was cool because like it's really easy to put big games on there like Sea of Thieves and Forza Horizon 4 and Hollow Knight. Like these are big popular games, and then to see there's Football Manager 2019 right next to Void Bastards is sort of like, yeah, cool. Like you're just like Bomber Crew on the Xbox One. It's like, here's a cool game that maybe isn't that popular, but you're getting a really great fan base there because people can actually try it. And like, Football Manager is not a cheap game. It's not a $10 game. So the investment, the money investment on a game I may or may not enjoy was pretty scary. But I've got Game Pass Ultimate until like 2023, so I will try it out.
A quick Football Manager anecdote here. I don't know how the professional soccer teams around the world can consistently get wrong how good players are going to be, when as far back as I can remember, the people who do the Football Manager games have predicted the superstars of the future for decades. Like,
weird.
It's that thing where you'll, like, if you want to go down a really interesting Google rabbit hole, do like FIFA 19 young superstars Google search, and you will see that the game creates characters that in career modes and manager modes, 10 years down the line, they will be global legends. Football Manager 2019 has done this for real people for years.
For like 25 years.
They've predicted the best of the best for like the past 20 years and got it right.
They have the book
these people.
They have the book from Back to the Future too.
The Almanac, yes, they do.
Yeah. Final Fantasy V 4-Job Fiesta 2019 is underway. I'm doing my first run right now. I don't know what was wrong with past Boston, but I decided to go for a super hard run. I did Chaos Berserker Risk. So Berserker Risk is something you can only do in the pre-registration time frame, which is basically you run the risk depending on how many people have donated money to the 4-Job Fiesta, sort of divided by how many people are running the Fiesta. You could potentially get more than one Berserker in your party.
Yeah, give me a 4 Berserker team and see how quickly you fail.
You will enjoy the beginning of my run then. But I also gave myself Chaos, and the description for Chaos on the website is jobs will be assigned, period. So it is, you're going to get something. It could be duplicates. It could be a job you're not going to unlock for 10 hours. It could be anything. My first job was Geomancer, which is a job you don't unlock until the 4th crystal. So I had to go jobless up until the 2nd crystal.
Nice.
Whereupon I got Berserker.
Yeah, 14 Berserker.
14 Berserker fighting the flame, the fire crystal boss, which is a heavy counterattack boss.
Yeah, the best way.
That was a nightmare. That was a nightmare I never want to redo. So my 4 jobs as it stands right now are Geomancer, Berserker, Chemist, and Bard. So I sort of accidentally lucked into a stupid overpowered run. Chemist and Bard together are just unstoppable. Once you get Bard, you can, on every single fight, including most bosses, you can cast Stop on every single enemy for the whole fight. So I can fight almost anybody in the game at my leisure. It's really great. So having a lot of fun. If anyone wants to run the Forge Out Fiesta, I created a Forge Out Fiesta channel in Discord. There are like 5 or 6 people that are running it this year for the first time. So hop in there. I've been helping a ton of people with their parties because I have a problem and I have been running this. I think I look back at 2012 was my first year.
I think you have a problem is the understatement of the year when it comes to this thing.
It's just my tagline. I have a problem. So go play Forge Out Fiesta. It's really great. And if you're going to do it for the first time, just do a regular run. It's #regular or #REG on Twitter for you to start. It's really great. Forge Out Fiesta is really great. I'm not going to go super deep into it because I've been talking about this for almost literally a decade. So
yep,
you know what it is. Outer Wilds. I've been slowly plugging away at Outer Wilds.
Spoiler free as possible, please, because
I'm not going to spoil it for you. I will talk. So if anyone hasn't started it and you really want to, I'm going to talk about mechanics this time. So there's a little bit of spoilers. If you want to play Outer Wilds and you haven't gotten around to it, just skip forward a couple minutes. They got a big performance patch 2 weeks ago.
It's perfect timing. You complain about the performance on the Xbox, and then they release a performance patch, and it works fine.
It runs incredibly smooth now. There are some frame rate hitchy areas, but they're doing a solar system simulation inside this game, so yeah, that's gonna happen. Especially when you look up in the sky and there's like 6 different planets animating above you.
Let me tell you all about the Elite Dangerous Galaxy map until about a year ago when they finally patched it to work.
Nice. Yeah, so it's one of those things where like I was talking about it on Twitter and someone mentioned that the PC version, I was installing Xbox Game Pass on PC because I was hoping Outer Wild was on there so I could run it on my moderately powerful PC. It's not. It's on the Epic Game Store for right now, which is fine. I didn't want to go buy it because it's $25, and I just bought Cadence of Hyrule. So
yes,
fine. I'll keep playing it on my ailing Xbox One. I really love this game. I really, really love this game, and I finally made it into the Southern Observatory on that one planet. That sucked. that should have been changed. That pathway to get there involved a pretty good amount of platforming, and that is not that game's strength.
Yep.
That is probably one of the larger problems I have had with this game. I made it into, so there's 2 giants in the game. They're like the Ember Giant and the Ash Giant or something like that. They're 2 planets that are right next to each other, and they're interacting with each other. I got into the middle part of one of them before the time limit on that planet hit. That was really fun. A race against time to get into the middle of that planet was really cool. Part of what I love about Outer Wilds and part of what is frustrating to me is the 22-minute time limit. I think it's a really great idea for the game, and I think it works really well. You have 22 minutes to do whatever you're looking to do before the universe gets destroyed and you get killed. Yeah. And then it starts you back over. I think that's great because you always have one goal. Like, I'm going to open up my rumors menu. All right, I'm going to go look for the this cannon over on this planet and go investigate that, because that's the next tip I got. You go there, you investigate, that ship log gets updated, you get 3 or 4 more clues that might be scattered across 1 or 2 more planets. You have a bunch of other stuff to do. My frustration with this game occasionally has been getting into one of those clues, saying, oh, okay, cool, if I wait for this to happen and get in this area and get closer to the thing that I'm actually investigating. My problem is that your character is a little too squishy, especially when it's with those ghost rocks, or whatever they call them, the ghost, the ones that kill you when you go near them, like your vision goes weird.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah. There's one area where you have to try and figure out how to get through this maze, and like 3 paths are just riddled with those things, and 1 path isn't. So you're launching your probe and you're looking for all the shiny effects. And if there isn't one, that's the one you're going under. But if you make a mistake, or like the ring around the entrance is covered in them, so you sort of have to launch with your thrusters in there to kind of get, like, do a slam dunk in there. If you mess that up, you die, you start your 22 minutes back over. So, like, I have to spend all my time getting back to the planet to wait for this thing and to get in this thing. Like, some of that feels a little bit frustrating to have to redo to get to this one goal. I don't think that destroys the game for me, but I see a lot of people bouncing off this game because of some of that stuff, which totally makes sense. But I think Outer Wilds is really something special. It's on Game Pass right now. I think it's really something to try and I wish the game pushed you towards the rumor map a little bit more. For anyone that hasn't played it, you get this almost flowchart looking thing where you go investigate one thing and you're reading text and you're looking at clues and you're inspecting stuff, or you're watching like replays of something, and that's telling you how to get further on another planet. So that little card that was in your rumor map now has a line drawn to this other card that says, okay, I found out on this planet you need to go find this thing to get under this thing to go there. So now you have another clue to go do that. You go do that, you'll find out another couple things. That really clicks with me, but it's one of those things where I totally understand if it doesn't for some people. I just think this is going to be... This game is really something special, and I think it came out on Game Pass right before E3, and I think it runs the risk of getting kind of ignored.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, people still seem to be talking about it even now.
Yeah.
And, like, I had a lot of people talking on E3 where it's like they want to get back to it as soon as they can. It's like, that's good.
Yeah, and I think it's really something great, and I think part of what I like about it is that 22-minute loop where you are racing against time, and this whole solar system is really simulating in real time in these 22 minutes. So if you have something that gets uncovered or covered over time, you need to work against that time frame where, like, maybe you have to wait 15 minutes, but after that time, this thing gets uncovered and you can go do another thing. I think that's super cool. There's really something about this game that I think is really special. So it's Outer Wilds, and
not Outer Worlds,
not Outer Worlds, which is coming later. Which is it being heavily shown at E3 is probably unfortunate for Outer Wilds.
Yes,
but or maybe fortunate because maybe people are buying it thinking it's the wrong game.
Yeah, it's already on Game Pass. I just scoop it up. All right, this is weird. Everyone's got weird. Everyone looks really weird, like aliens. But yeah, go play Outer Wilds. It's really something special. I think everyone should give it a try. And if it doesn't click with you after you do like a couple loops and you figure out your first couple puzzles, that's cool. But I think it's something so different. You should really give it a shot. And lastly, Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night is finally out. I started this game before the second day one patch came out. So I got bitten by the backer bug, which is that it does something different than Symphony of the Night did the thing where like you'll stumble upon this room and like an important item is just sort of hovering in the air there, and you pick it up and you go on your way. This one has treasure chests littered around. This bug before that 1.0.2 patch, if you started the game before that, you were just running around and those chests were already open, but you weren't getting the critical thing you needed in there to progress through the game. So I got bitten by that, just restarted the game. I think I lost 3 or so hours, which is kind of a bummer, but I seem to be getting better drops now this time, so that works out okay. Bloodstained is literally Symphony of the Night, almost carbon copied in like a real double middle fingers sort of way. Mm-hmm. Plus the last Castlevania game on Game Boy Advance, the one where you're killing enemies and you're absorbing their skills. Mush the two of those together, and that's Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It has the same map as Symphony of the Night, like blue squares, red squares, green are the teleporters, like it's very much that. The same composer is back, and it felt very much like the direction she was given was make a new Symphony of the Night soundtrack. And it's really good, and it's kind of close to Symphony of the Night in also a double middle finger sort of way. This feels very much like Konami, you wouldn't let me make another Metroidvania game. I'm gonna go make another Castlevania, and just like change the names a little bit.
It's off-brand Castlevania.
Yeah, but like maybe it's like the off-brand Dr. Pepper that you kind of like better than Dr. Pepper. You know, like it's
so off-brand, it's on-brand.
Yeah, like it's really crazy to see. We've had some great Metroidvanias lately. Axiom Verge, most of Iconoclast's, Hollow Knight is a high point for me. Like, there have been really great Metroidvanias especially in the last 5 years. But man, Iga makes a really great Metroidvania. Like, there's something about the game that he made is really great. I think I have some problems with it. Like, it's way too chatty. I don't need that much story. Like, dump me in the game and tell me to go kill a bunch of demons and absorb their powers and use them against the enemies. Cool. David Hayter is really good in this. David Hayter is basically this, like, samurai, quote-unquote, from the East. And he's 100% doing the Solid Snake voice through the entire game, and he is just chewing his lines and just being stereotypical David Hayter, and it's really great. It's a really good game, and it feels very much... Moon, you joked pre-show about it being Symphony of the Night 2.0. It really does feel like that in a really great way. Like, the jumping feels the same. You can attack right before you hit the ground and do another quick attacks and get like that 1-2// like Symphony of the Night could. You know, the save rooms are right across the hallway from the boss room. There's a giant waterfall in a cave that I fell down. Like, there's very much all that stuff. But there's additional stuff that is really a nod to how far the genre has come. Like, in Symphony of the Night, when you went into a teleporter, it just took you clockwise around the castle. Now you pick where you want to go. New doors to new areas look different than regular doors. Boss doors look very clearly like, yo, there's something back here, so you don't just stumble upon a boss anymore.
Yeah.
There's some cool 2.5D effects. Like, I just fought a boss around this tower, and you're sort of going up and around the tower, and the whole thing is spinning as you're going up. It's a really cool, really, really great game, and I wish there was more to talk about. I've played in the last couple of days, I've played 6 or 7 hours, and I think I'm 35% map completion.
Mm-hmm.
And I've probably covered, I'd say, 75% of the total map size of Symphony of the Night. So this game is huge. Like, so much so that I went into a different area, and it grayed out the previous 2 areas I've been in. Like, hey, you're entering into another whole area of the castle that's bigger than the other ones. And the kind of frustrating thing talking about this game is, if you've played Symphony of the Night, this is another one. Like, this is literally another Symphony of the Night. So there's not... You already know what's going on, and you already know what kind of game it is. And to me, that's a really great selling point for it, but that's kind of the game. Like, it's not a bad thing, but you've already played this game, and it's another one of those, and it's really well done. It's just Symphony of the Night again. So, not like Outer Wilds, where there's a lot of stuff to talk about. You should go play Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It's really great. Some of the problems I had with it when they were developing it are still problems I have. Like, I don't like the design of Miriam, the main character. I understand why they did some of that stuff, but it's something I'm not crazy about. There are 2 things I wish they would have done differently. One is the map desperately needs a legend. Mm-hmm. Like, at some point, these blue sigils just start showing up on your map. I don't know what they are. I still don't know what they are, and I'm like 8 hours through. And like diamonds start showing up in your map. Those turn out to be people. I didn't realize that, but not all the people show up as diamonds on the map. And I'm sorely missing map annotations like Hollow Knight had. Because there's a lot of stuff where, because it's a Metroidvania, there's a lot of places where it's like, okay, I clearly need a double jump to get through here. I will never remember where this is. Or like, I need a key card to get onto this train. Hope I remember where that is later. So that would be one thing I would really wish. But other than that, it's really good, and it is all I've been playing for the last couple of days. Because it really has its hooks in me. But I'm sort of the target market, so I guess that's not too surprising.
Oh, shock of shocks.
Yeah. And that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break.
I apologize in advance. I'm going to have to turn on my AC because this room is so hot.
That's okay.
You guys hear that dog yapping in the background?
I think I hear it a little bit every once in a while, but very quietly.
It's my dog, or my neighbor's dog.
Oh, great.
So I'm saying, there's been a couple times I've wanted to get him. Like, shut the fuck up.
I yell at some dogs in the neighborhood because like people just leave the dogs out, man.
Yeah.
Like, my problem is I'm not a dog person. I don't like dogs. But if you're gonna just leave your dog in the backyard all day, even when you're in the house, don't get a dog.
Exactly.
Like,
I never understood people that just had outside dogs.
Yeah. Like, I can understand that some dogs don't want to be in the house and they aren't well behaved and stuff like that. So I understand there are some instances of that, but there are a couple of dogs in the neighborhood that are just outside all day and they bark all day. They don't want to be outside. Yeah. And like, bring them to, like, when we had a dog before she passed, and both of us were busy all day, or like when I was working, when both of us were working all day, she went to doggy daycare. And it's not that expensive. It's not like a fucking 5-star hotel, but like, you gotta keep them busy too, man.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. Don't get yappy dogs and leave them outside all day. I was trying to find a cheap place to buy Breath of the Wild on Switch, and that's an oxymoron. So
it's a Nintendo game. It doesn't get cheap.
Well, I was thinking like, oh man, let's look at eBay and let's see if I can find something, because like, even for $40, I'd be pretty happy to spend that money on Breath of the Wild, because I didn't play all of it the first time, because I figured at some point I'll get a Switch and buy it on there and sort of try and play as much as I can there. Like, even under $50 is hard to get for like a used copy.
Yeah, I started looking up Ys 8 for the PS4 because I wanted to play that extra character stuff.
Right.
And that game, GameStop is still selling it for I think like $44 used.
Oof, yeah.
eBay is selling it for $59 and up.
Wow.
And the collector's edition, which I got the collector's edition for the Vita, but the collector's edition for both of them are about $300.
Wow.
When I paid, I think like $100.
Yeah, looking here on the Switch version is third party, so that's $70. The PS4 one is also now only third party. How much are people selling that for? That's the problem with some of these, like, no, I don't want that to be in my card. That's the problem with some of these, like, second tier RPGs. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, dismissively. It's just, it's not Final Fantasy, it's not Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Like, they get one print run, and that's kind of it. Like, they print a couple thousand, and it's like, all right, let the market figure it out.
That's apparently what happened, which I didn't realize that, because, God, who's the company? Atlas?
This is Falcom. Looks like Falcom published it
Falcom,
here in the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought somebody else released it in America, NIS
Maybe
or
NIS,
Atlas, one or the other. But yeah,
one of
apparently
the two companies.
Yeah, apparently they just did their run and that was it. And I didn't realize that, because if I knew that, I would have bought both versions when it came out.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because, like, thankfully Sony's been having some really good sales on digital stuff, so you'll probably be able to get it digitally on PS4.
These games never go on sale on console.
I know. I bet this Christmas, I bet it'll go on sale though, because it'll have been out for like over a year, and I bet it'll be. But like at that point, it's pretty late.
I
was thinking, like, I was thinking about Zelda. Like, maybe I'll buy that $100 voucher that they've had for Nintendo Online, where you buy that $100 voucher and you get 2 games for $100. Maybe I'll get Breath of the Wild and Link's Awakening. And then I thought, I really want Link's Awakening physical though, because that box is really cute.
Yeah. Well, and because I bought Ys Origins, that was one had never been released in America,
right?
And it was only being released by Limited Run Games, and that was the first time I had ever heard of that company,
right?
And I had an alarm set on my phone because it was going to be when I was at work, and I figured, okay, this is going to be old school, trying to get a JRPG where as soon as it releases, everything's gone.
Yep.
So I had an alarm set. I walked out in the middle of a production run to go outside so I could have a signal.
Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Be right back.
Yeah, I had to put my order in 3 times for it to finally accept it, and I got my limited copy of Origins. And I was so happy because right after that release, they had 2 releases for the day, one at 11 o'clock, and then whatever they didn't sell, they redid it at like 2 in the afternoon or something.
Yeah.
The 2 o'clock one sold out as soon as it opened.
Wow.
And prices for that just like jumped, just like for 8, where you couldn't find anything for less than $300, $400 for that thing. And I think they're still that high right now.
Yeah.
And I haven't even played it yet because I wanted to beat 8 before I played Origin.
Right.
But these games are...
Yeah, I just pre-ordered Link's Awakening and I forgot to do that. Because, like, the frustrating part, too, is, like, I'd love to pick up one of these game vouchers because I can pick up Breath of the Wild, and then I can pick up something like Mario Maker 2 or Dragon Quest Builders 2 or Luigi's Mansion 3, or, like, there's a whole bunch of other games I'd like to pick up with Breath of the Wild, but put it on sale at some point. Nintendo, come on.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. What's the buy physical button do? Nothing. And this game is 2 years old now, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It was released in May 2017, so... Nintendo, you're killing me.
The other thing, too, I picked up Golf Story during E3. Haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Yeah.
But it was on sale for, I think, like $9 during E3.
That's a good price for a game you will probably never finish.
Well, and I had 300 Nintendo Gold coins that I had to use because they expired at the end of this month. So that dropped it down to like $6 or something like that.
Nice, yeah.
I'm like, well, for $6, I mean, it's a game that I've always wanted to check out because quirky golf RPG game. Come on.
Yeah, I really wanted to like that game more than I did, but I think it was Patrick Klepek who wrote a review that was like, hey, there's just too much golf in this game. And I was like, yeah, right, come on, that's crazy. There's too much golf in Golf Story.
Like that golf JRPG. Come on.
Yeah, it's
like saying there's too many dragons in a JRPG.
The bummer about it is like it could be really great if they cut like literally 50% out of that game. A really lean Golf Story would be great. I'm never gonna finish that game. There's too much stuff.
Well, and my son started playing it because I didn't. The Switch is really the only thing that I have that I guess like hibernates or rests or whatever, because when it's in the dock you can't fully shut it off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it downloaded to the Switch after I bought it.
Oh, right.
I walked out there and my son's already playing it and I'm like, what the hell?
He's like, where'd you get this thing?
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, this just showed up and I started playing it. It's really fun. And I'm like, I know, that's why I bought it. Don't tell me anything about it.
That's really great. I'm gonna cut this news story because I don't really care.
What one's that one?
The second one about Twitch.
Oh, the Twitch.
I'm actually gonna cut both of them because the first segment went a little bit long and it's after E3, so like neither one of these are that interesting. We have plenty of questions this week, so we'll focus on that instead.
I saw that. I scrolled down a little bit. I'm like, oh, a couple questions, and then I scrolled more. I'm like, oh, wow.
No, there's one here. All right, you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of June 24th, 2019. Judgment comes out for PS4, and unsurprisingly, it's getting really great reviews.
Shocker.
Yeah.
A Yakuza crime thriller?
Yeah, the Yakuza team makes another great game.
Mm-hmm.
What a surprise. I would like to play that.
Those.
I don't know when I'm going to get the chance to do that. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is coming out on the Switch. I think this includes the first DLC pack as well. Mutant Year Zero is a really great game that I need to get back to at some point when I'm willing to put a little bit more time into banging my head against it.
Yep.
Samurai Showdown comes out on PS4 and Xbox One. Early buzz is that's really good, actually.
Everything that I'm hearing about has nothing but positive things to say about that thing.
Yeah. After a couple of weak Samurai Showdown games, seems like they finally kind of figured it out. So, The Sinking City comes out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Was billed as an action-adventure mystery horror game, which intrigued both Moon and I in pre-show. So we watched the trailer, and that looks pretty cool.
I think, but don't hold me to this, I'm actually going to do my research check on this now, so I'm going to say this and then fact check what I say after the fact.
Okay.
I think this is by the Sherlock Holmes teams.
Oh, that would make a lot of sense. It sort of looks Holmesian.
Yes. Give me a couple of moments here.
Okay. But that looks pretty cool. Dandy Dungeon Legend of Braid Yamada is coming out on Switch. I loved this game on iOS. It is a really cool sort of dungeon crawler where you're kind of you have one screen and you're trying to draw a path for the hero to get through the dungeon in one go, and you're fighting enemies and scooping up loot as you go. Hilarious story. It's basically a Japanese salaryman gets turned into a dungeon delving hero.
Of course.
It's really great. I really loved it on iOS, and I'm thinking about picking it up on Switch and playing it again.
Is it just me, or the stupidest, in a good way, the best, stupidest games always involve a Japanese salaryman?
Yeah, it's salaryman getting pulled into a fantasy land.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go wrong.
Salaryman getting pulled into getting nuked and then gets sent. Well, technically he's the president, but he's a salaryman.
Right. And then he has a gun and he's collecting Pokemon.
Exactly. Yeah. Then you've also got the salaryman who gets pulled into the world of wheelchair, like chairs on wheels racing downhill, like office chair racing.
Yep, forgot about
PlayStation.
That. Yep.
There's a lot of them.
You can't go wrong. We were talking about on the break about sort of Switch games that are never going to get cheaper. So Super Mario Maker 2 comes out this week on Switch.
Yep.
Buy now, buy later. It'll be $60. So.
The Sinking City update. If you pre-order the game on Xbox One, you get full access to the full game, Sherlock Holmes: The Devil's Daughter. So
there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. A direct line between them two. Yeah. Nintendo did recently talk about Super Mario Maker 2 at E3, and they said a patch will be coming later where you can play the game with your friends. Because that was one of their early announcements. It was like, of course you can't play Mario Maker 2 levels with your friends. Why would... Oh, you really want to do that? Oh, okay. Yeah, patch will come later. So, fear not.
Missed the chance to call this new Super Mario Maker.
That's right. New Super Mario Maker U. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night comes out on the Switch. That got delayed for a week due to some reason. No one really knows why. And Devil May Cry comes out on the Switch. That's the first one, the Fill Your Dark Soul with Light one. That's coming out on Switch.
Sure.
That's a great game. So I mean, you can't be too mad, but that seems like a weird thing. Capcom just putting stuff out. So apparently they figured out how to make an export to Switch checkbox. That's
like all the Resident Evils recently came.
Yeah, that's a Pokemon 5-minute joke for all of you on the internet. No real news stories here because E3 just happened. So let's move on to a whole boatload of questions we've saved for the last 2 weeks. First up, Winemaker Joe in Discord asks, Ascord, my favorite new chat app, Ascord. Is video game streaming going to be decided by which company has the better quality service, or by which company can give you more games for free at a lower cost? Example, so do I care if it's 4K or if I can play all the Resident Evil games / Call of Duty games in 1080p? That is a really good question. I think the Game Pass model has made answering that question hard.
For me, this comes down to the generational shift because our parents, I'm generalizing here, but our parents would struggle to use a controller. Like, my dad was really good at Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 2, he was fantastic at those games. If I give a controller to my mother wouldn't even know what to do with it. She would hold it by the sticks and wiggle the sticks, and the whole controller would move.
Right.
With us, we hold the controller, and we think this is natural. You give us touchscreen inputs, and touchscreen inputs are like alien to us. You give a kid a controller, and they will turn around and say, well, why can't I just use the stuff that's on the screen?
Right. But my kid, 2.5 years old, came out of the womb knowing how to use a touchscreen. It's really weird.
I think the exact same thing is going to be true here. Is like me, you, Nimp, everybody in our age group, we are going to see the frame drops. We're going to see the latency. We're going to see that stuff. People, generation or two below us, they've been playing Fortnite on their phones for years now, and they are completely used to hitches. They're used to drops. They're used to that kind of stuff. They're not going to care about the quality of the stuff. They're going to care about the price.
Or the social aspect.
Yeah, we are going to care about the quality of the work. We're going to care about the hitches, the drops, the things like that. I think the service that will speak to us will be the one that provides the best quality. The service that speaks to them will be the one that provides the best price.
Well, and we're still the market of hook a console into a TV and put a disc in it. There are still a lot of digital downloads we're doing, but as we continue to see, especially in the last couple of weeks, a lot of digital downloads being delisted completely, including if you purchased the game before or not. That's putting a lot of us on caution again. But I think you're right, and I think it's tough because I think Late Elf in Discord brought up the great point that ISP choice is gonna be a big part in this. Like, sure, you can play 4K games and it might work really well on your Chromecast for about 2 hours until you get really close to your data caps, and then what are you gonna do for the rest of the month?
You're gonna get throttled, or you're gonna have to pay the overage charges.
And maybe you play in 720p and that's fine, but I think for a lot of us, if you care about 4K, 8K ray tracing, that sort of stuff, then you look at something like PS5 and you look at Project Scarlet and you say, well, that's probably where I want to be, with the understanding that the streaming stuff will probably work and will probably be fine. And I think there's something really attractive. I think the streaming thing is really attractive for someone who doesn't own any consoles right now and doesn't have a gaming computer. I think you look at that $130, you plug something in your TV, you pull out a controller, within literally seconds, you're playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Watch Dogs Legion or something like this. And I think you don't have to screw around with some of the PC upgrade nightmares or patching stuff or video drivers, any of that. You don't have to worry about any of that. You plug it in as long as your TV's working and your internet's doing all right, you're playing a game at 1080p, 4K, whatever your choice is. I think that's a really strong selling point. But if you already have an Xbox One or a PS4, that's a hard sell. Especially if you have like an Xbox One X or a PS4 Pro. That's a hard sell.
And I'm kind of just sitting on the sidelines with all the streaming stuff anyway, because I like the fact that we're kind of heading in this direction, because it hopefully makes it a lot easier to play games.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more worried about what the ISPs are actually going to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I'm just sitting, and I want to see, with all the people who buy the Founders Editions for all this and jump in first, I want to see what the ISPs actually do.
Right.
I can't imagine them being helpful with us. I'm sure they're going to find a, convenience fee of some sort. Or
a gamer's package.
Exactly.
Right.
But assuming that they don't go crazy with that, I might jump into it. But then, like Moon was saying, it comes down to, okay, well, what's the stream quality then?
Right.
If I'm noticing that when I'm hitting a button, it takes a couple seconds for it to register, probably going to be out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, for anything other than a turn-based game, like that's out. Yeah.
It's like they had the guys from Stadia on the Giant Bomb couch I think it was for their day 1 interviews or day 2, and I'm interested in this technology because it's technology, and I'm interested in where this stuff goes.
And it's cool. It looks like it's finally the first streaming service that really works.
Mm-hmm. And like, I'm really interested in this, but like, Jeff actually asked the guy from Stadia. He was like, "Well, what about me? I am a frequent gamer. My wife uses Netflix. I pay over the top every month now because I'm always surpassing my bandwidth cap." And the guy's response was like, and I wanted to stand up, teleport to that time and place and punch him in the face, because when asked the hard question about the ISPs and what do they have an idea for that kind of thing, his response was, "Someone once said never bet against the internet, because if everyone who's consuming those bits is doing it in the same way, then the ISPs need to get in line." It's like, no, the ISPs don't need to get in line. That's exactly the problem that we've had for the past 10 years.
I would almost rather them say, like, well, you can control the quality of the image that's coming to you, so if you're really concerned about that, we can't control the ISPs, but we can control you. Maybe you play in 720p, because you're going to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and you're going to play it for 80 hours, but we don't want to saturate your data cap with 4K 5.1 surround, that would make me feel a lot better, but not this real flip attitude.
Yeah, I think Google would be better served if you could pick and choose what you wanted to help bring down the stream costs. Because, unless you're on, I don't know, is Google Fiber provided by Google, or is that a different ISP and they're just doing the...
It's provided by them.
By Google.
But they're pulling out of more and more markets now. Because it's failing.
But I mean, like, if you were on their network,
right?
Yes, they can control the cost. But then, like, I'm on AT&T. You guys are on what? Comcast,
I'm on
Warner. Yeah. Spectrum. So we all have different internet. We all know that the different companies are going to do different things. They don't. They don't file at all, and you could tell that with all the crap that went down politically with, the internet a couple of years ago.
And we still need to keep net neutrality in mind, where we don't want a special lane on the internet just for Google Stadia, because that ruins the purpose.
Yeah. Yep. So I mean, you can't really fault Google for their answer because they really don't have control over all of the internet in the United States. Because, I mean, that'd be the same thing as complaining to Sony or Microsoft about, it's like, well, this day one patch that I had to download for whatever that was 100 gigs, you know, that took up a lot of my bandwidth.
Right.
But I do feel with you, though, that his comment was pretty flippant about, well, you know, the internet will do what it needs to do. It's like, no, we've seen time and time again that no, they won't. Right. Whatever fattens their wallet,
they will charge us more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not so much like I'm expecting them to change the thing for everybody, because you were right, they don't control every aspect of it, and that's fine.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Microsoft, Sony, like, all of these streaming on live, all these people who are trying to provide this kind of service, none of them, not a single one of them, has the clout to go to these ISPs and turn around and say, what you're doing is BS for the consumers.
Right.
What would it be like if a Google CEO walked into a boardroom of Spectrum and said, you are going to remove these data caps and these limits, otherwise we are going to block your service from our service.
Right.
Yeah.
They would literally, like that, it would be gone.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, too, that I think hasn't been part of the conversation around xCloud and Google Stadia is the Apple Arcade, I think they're calling it. Mm-hmm. I think that it's the sort of the opposite to what these streaming services are doing, but I think it could potentially be important, especially as Google Stadia gets on more devices. I think you might start looking at, well, I could stream stuff to my phone on Google Stadia for $15 a month, or I have Apple Arcade over here that has X number of hundreds of exclusive games for $5, $10 a month, whatever, that I just download once and I play. Like, there's sort of an imbalance here.
And Game Pass is $15 a month. Game Pass Ultimate is $15 a month.
And, PS Now has historically been a very poor service that has cost too much, but they're doing really well lately because you can stream or you can download a bunch of these games for your membership. So it's sort of this halfway between downloading your games and sort of what Game Pass is offering. But yeah, I feel like this is the great question that's sort of hovering over all of this stuff, is who's going to offer, how well does Project xCloud work with your existing Game Pass subscription? Do I get xCloud as part of Game Pass Ultimate? Because if I do, and then I can play my Xbox One games remote play from anywhere, well, that wins.
Yeah.
And if I can subscribe to Google Stadia and pay that monthly fee, which I think is $15 a month, and get 2 or 3 really great games a month that I can play with I have an unlimited, very expensive unlimited internet connection right now. That might make a lot of sense for me, but does it beat something like what the PS5 and Project Scarlet are going to offer? It's exciting because we don't know. It's not one of those things you can look at and say, this is going to fail, this is going to do great. We thought Game Pass wasn't going to do super great. It was going to be like, great.
We all laughed at that when it first got announced.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be like PS Now, where it's like, great, 5-year-old games you can play for free, whoopity-doo. And then it's like, oh, wait, Forza Horizon 4 is on there day one? Okay, well, now I need it. Okay. So, I don't know. 2019 and 2020 are both going to be really great.
Well, don't worry, the world's going to end in 5 years anyway.
Yeah, it should be fine. Skewed One to Discord writes, I've finally finished plans and booking travel to fulfill one of my bigger gaming dreams the last few years. In August, I'll be heading to the Evolution Fighting Game Championships in Las Vegas, EVO, which leads me to the following question. What are some of your own personal gaming events/conventions you'd love to be able to attend?
Oh, let's see. You want me to do the checklist? Okay. E3, sure. Any one of the PAXs. One of the PAXs. I've never been to a PAX. I'd love to go to a PAX. RTX, because I have specifically the Austin version, because I've got a whole bunch of friends who live in Texas, and it will be cool to go down there, even just to meet up with them.
That's the Rooster Teeth one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There is Gamescom, literally the biggest video game convention on the planet.
Yep.
Is that the one in Germany?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's E3 of Germany, essentially, and that's insane. I'd love to go to TennoCon just to see how crazy that thing is. Which is the Warframe convention, for anybody who doesn't know.
Yeah, that has always looked... Like, previous to that, it was always the EVE Online convention. TennoCon looks, in the best, most positive way, it looks insane.
Like, you want to talk about some cosplayers? Go look at some Warframe stuff and see how much crazy work that people put in for that stuff.
Randy G in chat says, RTX was pretty cool. I made it to the first 2 or 3 of them. That's cool.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go, but number one, I didn't live on this side of the planet at first, and now number two, it's like trying to keep...
It's on the other side of the country now.
Yes, now it's the other side of the country. But I've got friends down in Texas, so it'd be cool to like go down and hang out with them and spend time.
Yeah.
And RTX, the community for RTX looks interesting. There is some things coming out about that company as a whole recently, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Oh no.
Glassdoor. Go look up some stuff. Glassdoor is... I'm glad someone invented that site.
Yeah.
Because it's a very useful one.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Rooster Teeth, but that's a real bummer to hear that there's some bad stuff coming out of there.
Yeah, specifically it's their animation department, which is... It's kind of an industry anyway that's wrought with a whole bunch of the same stuff.
Yeah, they're going through some growing pains too, just like the video game industry is. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's about it. The only other thing I'd like to do is go to Disney World.
I was gonna say TGS. I feel like TGS might be a shadow of its former self, but that still seems like kind of one of the cool big shows.
For me, take away the GS and let's just go to T. I would be perfectly happy with that.
There you go. Afternoon
Tea.
tea.
My thing, because I would want to go to Gamescom because it's in Germany.
Yeah.
And I would want to go to the Tokyo Game Show because it's in Tokyo.
Right.
Yep.
E3 would be nice too. I hear that's getting kind of weird. Yeah.
Well, I think the cool thing about
LA, there's not a whole lot there.
I think the cool thing about Gamescom though is they have really figured out how to do the 2 shows at once, like the industry show and the dealer show alongside a massively, hugely publicly accessible show, in a way that even this year, again, E3 just needs to steal all of those ideas and implement them in LA, and it seems like they still have not figured it out. Yeah. I don't know, but Evo seems really cool. Like, I'm not into a ton of fighting game stuff, but Evo seems like it's a really cool big event that's not just about the stuff that's on the floor. There's so much stuff going around it that seems so cool.
Yeah, and go
that would
play
be
some...
the fun part. Is just wandering around looking to see what's there. Like, not even looking for something in particular, just wandering around.
Yeah, like, what are you guys playing? Oh, Mortal Kombat 1 for money? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, get some cash games in a hotel room going. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I went to a sci-fi convention in England a couple of years ago, like 6 now, I think it was. But the best thing about that, it wasn't the stars that were there, it wasn't the stuff that was for sale, it wasn't all that stuff. It was being around a whole group of people who I could literally get into a conversation with anybody there, and you have that shared experience and love of something. I got to see Alien in a cinema in 2012 or whatever it was. Like,
you can call someone a smeghead and they're not really going to be that angry.
Dude, Lister did the DJ for one of the nights.
Perfect.
Craig Charles was the DJ for one of the nights at the hall. That's amazing.
All I want in life.
And that's like with so one of the bigger cities in Michigan on the west side is Grand Rapids, and they have a Comic-Con that they started a couple years ago, which like blew up over here for us.
Nice.
And I'm not a big comic book person. I mean, I like reading them, but I'm not,
I'm not one follower.
Of those. Yeah. Whereas a buddy of mine has a basement full of comics that he's had since day one that he started reading.
Bagged and boarded, filling his basement.
Yeah. And I started taking my son there, and we just walk around and check things out. I mean, we check out the merchandise because you find all kinds of just random stuff where it's like, hey, that's pretty cool. And we walked into a random panel of some guy talking about Magic the Gathering, which was interesting. Like, I didn't even know what it was. I just had to pass and walked in and just listened to this guy talk about it. And so that's the kind of stuff that I like, is just wandering around just to see what's there.
Yeah. I mean, that was the cool part about... I was born in the early 80s, and that was the cool part about growing up late 80s, early 90s in the PC scene, where we'd have sales like that, where you would just go into a giant ballroom of some hotel, and there's just hundreds of tables. Some people are selling video games, some people are selling floppies of WordPerfect, and some people are selling early copies of games, and it was crazy. Like, there's still something really cool about wandering a hall and being like, what are you selling? Oh, you're selling dice that you're making out of precious gems you got out of the earth yourself. This is super cool. Like, you never see that stuff.
Always knowledgeable people there about whatever it is that you're there to see, too. Yeah. And just people who are willing to help. And I think that's part of it, too, is like everyone there's generally friendly.
Yeah, they're all part of the same community. Like,
it's like everyone's willing to tell you, no, this is the comic you should start with, or you know, whatever. Or hey, this is how you should help out your cosplay, or whatever. Because there's tons of people that cosplay at the one that we went to.
That's cool.
And there were like a bunch of women talking to each other, saying, "Hey, you did really good with this. You know, if you wanted to make this look better, this is what you should do, or this is what I tried," and blah blah blah. And you get all kinds of just random helpful people there.
I love the artists as well, like specifically like the fan artists, like. The one I went to in the UK, they had like a very small, essentially a small artist alley, and one dude had made, I'm not kidding, like a huge, like 6 foot tall painting of Optimus Prime from OG Gen 1 Transformers, but done in like a really modern art style, and it was one of the best pieces of art I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a shame I don't have $1,000 right now, because I would take this thing off you in like literally 2 skips of a beat.
Jimbo Jangles in chat says it's like if Etsy had a store you could walk through. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like marketed towards, like, I love comic books, and here's the comic book section of Etsy, and I'm going to go look at all this cool stuff.
We even had people from the 501st show up at this Comic-Con.
Wow.
Those guys spend mad money on their costumes because they keep it movie, like it's film authentic.
Yeah.
And I was talking with one of the guys, and he let me try on his helmet just, you know, to see how, and he's got like the inside built up to how it should look when you put one of those helmets on. I'm like, how long did it take you to make this? He's like, that helmet took me about 2 years to make. It's like, that is a lot of dedication that I don't have.
Yeah, like, nothing but props for those peeps, but that's not me.
Yeah.
Man. Mental Case in Discord says, what games would you like to get back to playing but are deterred because you haven't played them in a while? For instance, I've got Sekiro loaded up, but the controls and timing aren't fresh in my mind, and I'm sure I couldn't pick up right where I left off immediately.
Warframe.
Technomancer, I'm starting to get a little worried about. Yeah. I like Technomancer a lot, but like, it's been a couple weeks.
Astroneer?
Oh, yeah. I downloaded that on PC. It's on PC Game Pass right now. And I was like, oh, yeah, I could play some Astroneer on my PC if I was ever up here playing games.
It's got a very unique control style, which is very scary.
A lot like Outer Wilds, where it's like, oh, this is like Lunar Lander in 3D. That's terrifying.
Well, and with your comment, Moon, about Warframe, that is its own beast because it's been probably 3 years since I've played it.
Oh, no.
And that game changes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
significantly.
So it's not so much remembering the controls. It's, okay, what are the controls now? What is the thing that I was doing before? What do I have to do to complete
What's
this
my
now?
character's skill tree now?
Yeah.
How far is that being nerfed into the ground?
Right, yeah.
Or buffed, or whatever.
Yeah, it's like logging, you know, back when I was playing World of Warcraft, it's like logging in after a big patch and it says, your skill trees have been refunded. I'm like, oh no. Oh, what happened?
Yeah, because for Warframe, I play Oberon for the most part, because I really like playing support, and I have my Prime Soma that I use, because that is just a fire hose for bullets. And I had that thing set up perfectly where we were doing all these runs, and I was just there to heal and support.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And when I logged in, I think like 3 years ago, the last time, everything that I'd built didn't work anymore the way I had it set up. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta figure this out again.
Yeah. Man. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord says NBA 2K19 has a special on all platforms where you can purchase the game for $2.99, which is a great deal since each year it's one of the best sports game franchises. After playing for a bit, I realized why we got the game for such a low price. They now have unskippable pre-game ads. For some, this is great because they get the game for a low price, but for others like me, I don't like waiting and pay extra for no ads on Hulu. My question is, could you see a trend of console AAA games offering a lower cost game with ads? I'm okay with the option, by the way.
I'm not.
Well, okay. So there's a couple of hitches in this.
Okay.
Number one, do the people who paid $60 at launch still have to see those ads? My guess is yes, because 2K are not going to go through the hassle of saying, if paid 60, no ads.
Right.
If not paid 60, ads.
It's not like the two physical versions of the Kindle, whereas you pay $30 more, you don't get ads. If you pay $30 less, you get ads every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have faith in 2K.
No. But then on top of that, fine, put the ads in. They should be skippable. Whatever.
Right.
Like, it's more realistic if you see ads in the pre-op for a basketball game, because guess what? They are full of ads. American
you can save
sports,
15% on your insurance by switching to Geico. Here's the third quarter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By its very definition, American sports are full of ads anyway.
Yeah.
So it makes it more realistic. Whatever. Make them skippable. And companies are not going to offer you a lower price point if they can put ads in it, because they're just going to put the ads in it.
Yeah.
I give
$60 and ads? Ooh, that's the stuff.
I give you Burnout Paradise with its Hyundai advertisements on the billboards.
Yeah.
I give you Vegas 2, I believe it was, with the adverts in the casinos for all of the new movies coming out, which got updated as the game got updated.
Let's not forget Alan Wake, brought to you by Energizer.
Mm-hmm. Which was a really bad advertisement because that flashlight ran out like that.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind the ads that you were talking about for like Burnout in Vegas. Those were fine because you could see those.
Yeah.
But
and that
wasn't the only thing that you were seeing. Yeah, they were in world. So it was cool to be able to have things like that, but to have the game interrupted so that you can watch this ad.
Yeah.
The only way I would accept that is if you give me the game for free and in turn I have to watch these ads.
Right.
Yep.
But if I'm paying for this game, there shouldn't be ads in it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I feel like this might be a bigger trend if streaming wasn't coming.
Yeah.
Because if streaming wasn't coming, it's like, yeah, man, $10 you get the starter edition of NBA 2K20, and yeah, you got a bunch of ads, but you only spent $10.
Well,
I feel with streaming and Game Pass, like I feel like this is not. I feel like this probably isn't something that's going to get a bunch of traction.
Well, and that was why I said no initially, because we just got done talking about streaming, about internet companies doing whatever they're going to do.
Right.
Now imagine you playing your game, having to watch this 2-minute ad, and I'm like, hey, guess what? Your bandwidth's gone because you were playing in 4K. Here's your ad, and you used up all your bandwidth.
Yeah, streaming these ads from the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know. Conceptually, I'd be okay with it if the $60 version didn't have the ads, but like Moon said, I don't trust virtually any of these publishers. Even the ones I like Ubisoft, would probably do some shady stuff. So
yeah. And honestly, I don't have a problem with them advertising stuff in game, as long as if in world it makes sense. Right. I'm fine with seeing the Toyota advert and I'm fine with seeing the movie posters in Vegas. I'm not fine with Sam Fisher chewing on a bunch of Stride as he jumps out of a helicopter and very clearly making it known that it's Stride.
Jimbo Jangles in chat says, Boston, would you buy Breath of the Wild for $10 if there were billboards throughout the lands for Geico and Pepsi? Maybe. that's the rough part. Like the front of the Guardian just says like, brought to you by Gamer Fuel.
Yeah, a big flashing banner.
Yeah. It just shoots out Slim Jims.
That's kind of the thing too. It's like if they did something stupid with it, yeah, like the side of your camel says Monster on it or whatever.
Right.
Hey, cool, whatever. That's funny.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But no, not an unskippable ad.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you also get so many of these games that are based on real life things that are full of ads anyway. Look at the Formula One game. A company who cannot advertise on Formula One cars, Mission Winnow, for anybody listening and doesn't listen to pre-show, go check out that stuff.
Yeah.
They can't advertise in the game because it's tobacco products.
Right.
But all of the other advertisements are still in the game. It still says Rolex on the steering wheel of the Mercedes. It's still got all of these advertisements in it. That makes sense because that's based on a real life thing.
Right.
The Seattle Sounders team in FIFA has Xbox written across the front of their jersey.
Right.
Because the Sounders are sponsored by the Xbox Corporation, and everybody plays as the Sounders or chooses that kit on the Xbox version of FIFA because it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff already exists in so many of the games. It's like, fine, whatever. Yeah. Like, if you're gonna put an advertisement in a fake universe, do the advertisement that was in the last Remedy game, Quantum Break. They had the advertisement for Night Springs in there. That's an advertisement that's in world and it's amazing, even though it's not for anything real.
That's right. And our last question this week is from T-Bomb Rocks in Discord. So far in 2019, 2 games I was highly anticipating succeeded my personal expectations. Resident Evil 2 Remake and Bloodstained. What are some games you had high expectations and the devs exceeded those for you?
I mean, you just named one for me. Resident Evil 2.
They said, we're going to remake Resident Evil 2. It's like, oh, do you need to? Like, you probably don't. And then it comes out and you play it and you're like, wow, you modernized Resident Evil 2 without, losing the spirit of it. That's good. Bloodstained for me is definitely feels like that, where it's like you made a modern Symphony of the Night in a really cool way. Obviously, I haven't finished it. It might just poop itself by the last 10%, but it grabbed me like Symphony of the Night did, where it's like, cool, I just got a new skill. I need to go scour the castle again to go find all the places I can double jump and get some cool loot. Like that feeling is exciting again, and to get that in 2019 is pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me this question again, March 2020.
I'm literally going to say, Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's, for a lot of us, that's the next big one, where it's like, you're saying all the right stuff, and you're showing the cool trailers and the gameplay, and is that a 20-hour game, or is that a 50-hour game? We'll see.
Well, even Cyberpunk, that's still coming out later this year, right?
No, early next year.
Is it early next year?
April next year?
That's right.
April
that's right.
16th or something.
That's one, because I try to temper my expectations of games.
Yeah, I try as well.
There are things that I get stupid excited for, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, like Cyberpunk 2020.
Watchdog Legion is for me, where I'm just like, don't get excited. Oh, it looks so good. Yeah. I want to shoot people's grandma. No.
So next year, ask me that question, and I will tell you how happy or disappointed I am.
Man, the first 4 months of next year are gonna either be really great, and 2020 is gonna be a hard year for top 10, or it's gonna be a really hard, most disappointing of 2020 list to generate. Yeah.
Elite Dangerous was that for me as well, by the way. I saw the Kickstarter trailer. I was really interested in it. I pre-ordered it on Xbox Early Access as soon as I could. I was like, this seems like I'd never even played the original, so I was like, this looks like it'll be right up my alley.
Right.
But then it was like a waveform with me, where it was just like hype, play, hype, play, hype, play, until eventually it was like it got to there, and it went way further than I ever expected it to.
Yeah.
But this is a game I could literally put thousands of hours into and never get bored.
Yeah. And wrapping up to the beginning of the show, I feel like even though I don't play a lot of them, there's a lot of games as a service game, however you feel about that subgenre, that have done really well by sticking with it. Like we talked about Siege, Dead by Daylight, Destiny 2. Like there's Division 1. Like there's a lot of really great games that eventually got there, and I feel like exceeded the original expectations, like especially Division 1, where it's like, cool, this game and Destiny 1 both came out and they're bad. It's awesome. Yep. This is fantastic. And then it's sort of like, oh, they both got into a really great place, and then Division 2 launched and is just fantastic. And I haven't played the new specialization in Division 2 yet, though.
I need to. I've got like 10 updates waiting on my Xbox downstairs. It's like, well, I don't want to update everything.
I forgot that Jimbo Jangles in chat says, Boston, since you backed Bloodstained, am I going to get attacked by your portrait? I really wish I had spent however much money was in the backer to get my portrait in game, because they took a photo of everyone, whatever photo that people sent in, and they made like a Baroque painting out of them. So they're all in the back. And it's like all these men and women and one cat, which is really great. Nice. And the possessed paintings are of people that backed the game. So like this one dude's painting just comes to life and starts attacking you, and it's very clearly like, here's Jim, the guy that backed this game. I think that's really crazy. I think that's super great. And I forgot where I was going with the other point, but yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think that's all of our questions. So that's our episode this week. Thank you. We recorded for a really long time. Thank you everyone for making it this far in the episode. We really appreciate it. Visit us at tvgp.tv. Everyone find and follow us on the right hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. As Moon said, thankfully taking care of business at the top of the episode. Brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks coming out of the $5 tier. I've had this entire energy drink now, and I'm starting to really feel it. New episode of ODNF out this Friday. It's the last Friday of the month. Don't forget, at the $5 tier. It's going to be a good one. They're all good. So if you're not a patron, go check it out. $5 tier is the best value. Help yourself get some cool content. Help me pay for the show, because it is very much not free. And I don't have a paying job.
And go and vote.
Yes, go and vote. If you're listening to this episode and you are we making that public?
Make it completely public.
Cool.
I want the public at large to vote on the correct choice,
right?
So we can get them in here. Come and listen.
Patreon.com/E1M1, ones or numbers. Go vote for the correct choice in the upcoming ODNF episode. Game Club. We're playing Tokyo 42. A game I am excited to start that I have not yet.
I have that on my install list downstairs, waiting to go.
It is installed on my PS4, and that is as far as I got. We roguelike it. We are having a lot of fun with Don't Starve right now. If you're a patron, you can get episodes 2 weeks early. If not, you're going to start that series this week, I believe. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
See you.
Well, I won't see you next week, but yeah.
Yeah, Moon won't be here next week. But it'll be Nimp and I and someone. Or just Nimp and I, who knows? Yeah.
What a dead eye staring.
That's right, just silently, just... Are you on mute, Nimp? Nope. Alright, Moon, hit me with your titles.
Okay. The correct choice. Scrub Pants.
Mm-hmm.
The Zelda text. The Golden Run.
Oh boy.
She's a Survivor, I'm a Killer. Killer Skill Synergies.
Well, I don't know if I'll be able to say that.
I Will Help the Pirates. Elite Thinking. This is probably a veto, but Fast and Hard.
Yeah, but it's good.
I Have a Problem. I feel like that gets suggested a lot.
Yeah,
because we all have problems.
I'll early veto that, but it's an evergreen one.
So off-brand, it's on-brand. This is going to be hard to pronounce. Ascord. Discord with Ask in front.
I'll veto that one just because I won't figure out how to spell it.
That's kind of the game. Is my last one.
Nimp, what do you have?
I have 12 defense. Blood points.
Blood points.
Blood hunt.
Blood hunt.
MLG Pro. You are a better killer. She is a survivor. I'm the killer. Don't like playing the Vomit Lady. Legion is my jam. Killer Terminology. I'm a giant D-bag. Killer Skill Synergy. Year of the Terminator. A Tachanka head situation.
That's a deep cut as well. Such a deep cut.
I'm gonna veto that just because I don't want to figure out how to spell Tachanka, and I feel like it's a good drop in the episode.
TCH is the start of that, by the way.
TCH? I wouldn't have gotten that.
A Merry Chase. I don't think that's fun. 14 Berserker. I have a problem. Hashtag regular. Ailing Xbox One. Ghost Rocks. Backer Bug. And I know this one's going to get vetoed, but double middle finger sort of way. It's way too chatty, and there's something back there.
I didn't buy any clothes. A Broke Hero. One of my favorites, even though it's long. From 1 to 12, the Moonpier story.
Yep.
White Dad Shuffle Zone. He Likes His Hooks. Elite Junior. A House in the Clouds. I Will Help the Pirates. So Off-Brand It's On-Brand. And Killer Terminology. All three of us had vastly different lists, and I feel like we have a lot of
there's a fair bit of narrowing down to do here.
Yeah. I feel like Killer Terminology is probably on the short list.
Mm-hmm.
I like So Off-Brand It's On-Brand.
Yeah, that one's a pretty great one as well.
That's solid. White Dad Shuffle Zone is pretty good. I don't know if it hangs with the other two though.
No, I Will Help the Pirates as well, but it's maybe a little verbose. Not that that's ever stopped us before.
No, that's fair. I feel like those are my two frontrunners: So Off-Brand It's On-Brand and Killer Terminology.
I like them both.
Just mush them together.
I feel like So Off-Brand It's On-Brand is a little stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cast my vote for that one.
That's fine. I'm down.
Okay. The tough part is I feel like they're both winners. They're both winners in my heart. But I don't feel like flipping the coin. So I'm going to pick So Off-Brand It's On-Brand. Let me know when you gents are ready to go.
I've kind of got something.
I have nothing. A second here.
The TVGP story. What do you got?
Nothing. No, I have problems.
Well, yes, that's I have problems. That's right.
All right, I think I got something.
Okay. Let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 609 for June 24th, 2019. So Off-Brand, It's On-Brand.
Mr. Pibber.
It's kind of like ketchup, but more like catsup.
Mr. Pibber. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us and chatting with us. We'll see you next week. Bye.